Hey, welcome to the stream, chat. It's really nice having you here. It's really insane that you're all here, chat. Wow. It's crazy, chat. You thought you would have an absentee streamer. Fuck, I'm here. I'm here for you guys. I'm doing my due diligence, chat. It's insane. It's insane that I'm here, chat. It's insane that you guys are here. It's insane that we're doing this. Hmm. All right. Ain't that crazy? Woo. There's like some new activity in the Discord. That's pretty interesting. Got some new wankers in. That's good because I'm a bit fucking fed up of the old wankers. Oh, okay. Disembodied voice box. What? Crazy chat. Oh shit, I forgot to do the thing. I've never forgotten to do that before. Interesting. Okay, let's get on it. It's crazy chat. Okay, hang on. Insane. If you forget to update the YouTube chat, it just shows you a big blank box. And as much as I love boxes, there's the good kind and there's the bad kind. There we go. My god, that's me! And you guys in chat. It's crazy chat that you're there. Look at that. Ooh. So maybe I should probably start learning some new things if I'm going to do piano stuff on stream, because my piano playing kind of plateaued about 10 years ago after I'd only been playing for like a year. And I don't really use it for anything other than just like finding harmonies and shit. And just noodling in a very childish kind of way. Hmm. Oh, I guess I'm an F. All right. Ooh. How much to put up the Vosh picture again? Which Vosh picture? I really like this chord. I don't even know what it is. Oh, it's just a C7. But it starts with a G minor. It's like pulling off a G minor. C7/G. If I did it like this. That's weird. That's crazy, chat. Okay. Nice. It's insane. It's insane that we just started with the piano before we do the stream. Chat. Okay, wait. How do we improve battery performance? That's a. Why the fuck are you asking me, a streamer? Why are you asking me that? I'm a fucking political streamer. I'm not a fucking tech support. All right, hang on. I heard that Jesse Singal. Remember him? I think all I know really, for 100% sure about Jesse Singal, is that he did that article about trans healthcare that I thought was fine. He was just talking about, it was like 2017 or 16 years. It was really, really, really long. Like a really long piece in the Atlantic about how trans healthcare basically isn't like for kids, isn't as much of a settled question issue as people thought it was. That's basically it, isn't it? And it seems that a few European countries have agreed with their healthcare systems. People say it's political, but it's like these are national healthcare systems that are doing this. So I don't think it's like a political. But he did this article that I don't know if this is why people started saying he was transphobic. But I guess ever since then, he faced a bit. 2018, he got a bit of backlash. He even supports gender affirming care in this article. I think what they disagree on is what I've always said is the disagreement is what's the standard for deciding whether a kid gets gender affirming healthcare or not. That's the only big contention. But yeah, I don't know. But I guess since then he's become a little bit obsessed. He seems like he's a bit obsessed. So I don't really know. And I think he deleted his Twitter over something at one point because he might have. There was something he did that was to do with sharing a story that might have not been true or might have not been reliable or some whistleblower shit. Fuck, what was it? I don't know why I've forgotten it. It was like some whistleblower story, but apparently it might have been the information might have been acquired by like a breach of someone's confidentiality or something like that. But that doesn't necessarily implicate him. It just looks bad. It would implicate the person who leaked the information, but the HIPAA thing, yeah. But I guess we'll see how this debate went, because I know Majority Report, they'll hold him to the fire one day. They'll hold his feet to the fire. What's this? All right, let's have a look. Hey, Harley, how's it going?
I appreciate the phone call. Ronald Reagan, ladies and gentlemen. Ronald Reagan. There you go. We have time.
Can I call in? I know the full story. Sure. Let me go in the Discord. If you go in the waiting room, I can yank you in.
For one more call? Yeah. We'll try this one. Calling from 617, another Boston
Hey,
area
man, it's
code.
Jesse Single.
Oh, it's Jesse Single. Hello, Jesse.
Oh.
How's it going, man?
Good. We can't hear you very well. Can you speak into your phone?
Yeah. Are you on the headphones?
Hold on one sec. That any better?
Ever since Emma shit the bed so hard on City Bike Karen thing, I've lost so much respect for the Majority Report. Everything I've seen of Emma, she seems kind of brain damaged. Like, she doesn't seem to do that much research, and she just like repeats leftist like dogma bullet points. That debate with AJW was really bad. The Karen thing was pretty bad. But I guess it's like I don't always like to judge people just on their worst moments, you know? Because maybe she's usually fine. I have no idea. Maybe she's fine here. Who knows? Who knows?
Not great, but we can try and can we put him up a little bit? All right, Jesse. So you wanted to call him for a while. What's on your mind?
Oh, the Cleopatra thing. The Africa. Oh God, that was weird. Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, thanks to Emma.
If you're going, so Razor Fringe, if you're going onto a debate with someone whose entire spiel on the internet is talking about crime, and you're going to go in leading with the whole poverty is what causes crime. That's really weak. Like really, really weak. I don't know. It was a pretty bad look, that whole thing. I was not a fan of it. No.
He's going to come on my podcast, Blocked and Reported. I appreciate that. It takes some guts to do that, given our disagreements. But I'm basically just like calling in because I committed to doing so. I'm a little bit.
You don't feel. You should not feel obligated whatsoever. I'm perfectly willing to. I didn't consider it a commitment. I wasn't anticipating it. So. Don't feel in any way obligated whatsoever.
I think it's okay. I do feel obligated. I said I would do it. I want to honor that. But I feel like Twitter causes a lot of division and drama, and I've contributed to it. I just think there's probably
I would agree with that.
I think there's probably a fair amount we agree on some of the stuff you guys discuss, including just how bad it is to try to ban youth gender medicine. That was something I wrote about in May of 2020, before it was a national story. I also think there's probably some areas where there's a little bit of disagreement, but they tend.
So he doesn't want to ban youth gender medicine. I think also, was it Lance I heard from who was saying that this guy was supporting conversion therapy? But I haven't seen that anywhere. He said it was from the Atlantic article, but I can't find it in there. I think he shits on conversion therapy in that article.
To be edge cases, just stuff where there's probably going to have to be some, debate and compromise. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know. I've been writing about science for a decade, and
what do you mean by youth gender medicine?
But here's the thing.
Clarify that, please,
Jesse. I just want to make something clear. I don't care where we agree on. That is, I can't tell you how irrelevant it is to me what we agree on.
Interesting.
Whether it's in the context of trans stuff, whether it's in the context of any other politics, wholly irrelevant. I don't care what kind of person you are. I don't care what your belief system is. None of that is relevant. The reason why I think you are toxic and at best extremely unhelpful in this area is that you distort the importance of this issue, and are so fervent at pointing out this minutia that I consider minutia in the face of what is actually happening on the ground. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. That's not you, but it's an analogy, and it's an extreme one. But that's
just because we have limited time. Could we just keep this to stuff I've written that you have?
No,
that you
because so I don't. Because no, it's not even there's a specific no. Because it's not even that there's a specific thing that I take issue with, because that in some ways is exactly what the indicative of the same problem.
I maybe he's got something here, but every time I hear people talk about Jesse Singal, it's always these really vague criticisms. And the fact that you need to go to surely if you think someone's toxic, you can find something that they've said or done, because he's a journalist. It's his work is pretty self-contained in articles and I guess tweets. That's kind of all he does. He's got a podcast as well. I'm sure you can find something in there. I will do this. It's I know that you feel that
you are just writing stuff that you think is accurate, very technically accurate, that your issue was in insisting and in highlighting this clip that no one had seen really until you promoted it. That in the words saying that when Matt said your lies were cited by Republican attorney generals, for whatever reason, when we did this email exchange and you put out a little clip of it, you didn't use, you said conservatives. I was confused by that because maybe I thought you were talking about something different. But my issue with you, what you do, okay, is best summed up in this analogy. And again, this is an analogy that's extreme, but it makes the case, is that back in 2004, there was a writer who wanted to argue, and you remember what was happening in 2004, 2005 in Iraq. Maybe it was before your time, I'm not sure. Who wanted to argue that there is nuance in the context of the torture debate. And by, sort of showing that within the context of the torture debate, there were nuanced instances where the idea of saying that torture is bad is inaccurate because there were nuanced instances where that was okay. And I think the headline was in defense of torture. And it was published on the Huffington Post. At a time where
that's completely grotesque.
Yes, I'm sure. I use this example because I knew you would think it was grotesque. But why is it grotesque? Because this writer claimed that, look,
I don't know where is this article? I can't find it. In defense of torture, Huffington Post. Do I have to spell defense like a fucking American to get it? Jackson, this 2005. Is it by Sam Harris? It is. Yeah. Okay. One of the few people I know of who has argued in print that torture may be an ethical necessity in our war on terror. Imagine that a known terrorist planted a bomb in the heart of a nearby city. He now sits in your custody. Rather than conceal his guilt, he gloats about the forthcoming explosion and the magnitude of human suffering it will cause. Given this state of affairs, in particular, given that there is still time to prevent an imminent atrocity, it seems that subjecting this unpleasant fellow to torture may be justifiable. For those who make it their business to debate the ethics of torture, this is known as the ticking bomb case. How long is this article? Oh, it's really short. Should we go for it? Ooh. While the most realistic version of the ticking bomb case may not persuade everyone that torture is ethically acceptable, adding further embellishments seems to awaken the Grand Inquisitor in most of us. If a conventional explosion doesn't move you, consider a nuclear bomb hidden in Midtown Manhattan. If bombs seem too personal and evil, picture your 7-year-old daughter being slowly asphyxiated in a warehouse just 5 minutes away, while the man in your custody holds the keys to her release. If your daughter won't tip the scales, then add the daughters of every couple for 1,000 miles. Millions of little girls have, by some perverse negligence on the part of our government, come under the control of an evil genius who now sits before you in shackles. Clearly, the consequences of one person's uncooperativeness can be made so grave and his malevolence and culpability so transparent as to stir even a self-hating moral relativist from his dogmatic slumbers. Okay. So he's saying there are edge cases where everyone would be okay with torture, or like most people. I guess the argument there would be whether or not that practice could ever be institutionalized in a way that would yield better results, because you can't just have things existing as one-offs for if they cross everyone's moral threshold. There would have to be some kind of institution for it, and that's why even if there are edge cases where it would provide better outcomes, that's where the rule consequentialist comes in and says, well, what happens as soon as we institutionalize this practice? Is there ever a way to do that that's like actually going to only ever get the edge cases and never apply to the non-edge cases? Like, probably not. But he's saying it might be an ethical necessity in our war on terror. Rare circumstances. I hope my case for torture is wrong, as I'm much happier standing side by side with all the good people who oppose torture categorically. I invite any reader who discovers a problem with my argument to point it out to me in the comment section of this blog. Oh, fucking atheist. Love the atheist bro approach. Most readers will undoubtedly feel at this point that torture is evil, we're wise and practice it. Even if we can't quite muster a retort to the ticking bomb case, most of us take refuge in the fact that the paradigmatic case will almost never arise. It seems, however, that this position is impossible to square with our willingness to wage modern war in the first place. Collateral damage, blah, blah, blah. Pacifism of Gandhi. We would do well to reflect on Gandhi's remedy for the Holocaust. He believed that the Jews should have committed mass suicide because this would have aroused the world and the people of Germany to Hitler's violence. Is that true? Okay. I know Gandhi had problems. I know he's a mixed bag. I didn't know he said that. Wait, it's actually in quotations. Sam Harris. Orwell Foundation. Interesting. Huh. Okay. The Holocaust in wiki quote. Sounds like it's Orwell quote. Oh, whatever. Fuck. I don't want to get sidetracked. I'm gonna say, might be true. Don't know. Seems crazy, chat. Seems insane that he would say that. There seems no question that if the good people of the world adopted Gandhi's ethics, the thugs would inherit the earth. So where's the I don't know. Maybe there's like a nuanced argument in here, but okay, I guess the analogy. Is that this probably wasn't a very helpful thing to write during the Iraq War. Opponents of torture will be quick to argue that confessions elicited by torture are notoriously unreliable. Well, yeah, that is true. People just say anything to make the pain stop, yeah. Given the foregoing, however, this objection seems to lack its usual force. Make these confessions as unreliable as you like. The chance that our interests will be advanced in any instance of torture need only equal the chance of such occasioned by the dropping of a single bomb. What was the chance that the dropping of bomb number 117 on Kandahar would affect the demise of Al-Qaeda? It had to be pretty slim. Enter Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, our most valuable capture in the war on terror. Here is a character who actually seems to have stepped out of a philosopher's thought experiment. US officials now believe that his was the hand that decapitated the Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl. Whether or not this is true, his membership in Al-Qaeda more or less rules out his innocence in any important sense, and his rank in the organization suggests that his knowledge of planned atrocities must be extensive. The bomb has been ticking ever since September 11, 2001. Given the damage we were willing to cause the bodies and minds of innocent children in Afghanistan and Iraq, our disavowal of torture in the case of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed seems perverse. If there is even one chance in a million that he will tell us something under torture that will lead to the further dismantling of Al-Qaeda, it seems we should use every means at our disposal to get him talking. The New York Times has reported that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was tortured in a procedure known as waterboarding, despite our official disavowal of this practice. What do you mean our? Like Sam Harris as well? Which way would the balance swing? Okay. So he's saying that Jesse Singal, by pointing out that conventional progressive wisdom on trans healthcare for youths is a bit flawed, and that's him feeding conservative narratives, even though I know Singal opposes bans on trans healthcare for youths. So you're going to have to, if you want to make that case, you have to point to something pretty strong that Singal is doing that is like beyond just taking a measured approach on trans healthcare for youths. Because the thing that no one fucking admits is that trans healthcare for kids and the way it should be administered and the way the procedure should actually be formulated is, it's new. It's really, really new. The research on it usually has like very small sample sizes. There are contradicting results in how it should be done. There's nothing wrong with saying that like, oh, I think this person should be, it should be like 1 year of therapy and then puberty blockers, or it should be 2 years of therapy, or it should be no therapy at all. They just go straight away because fucking, I don't know, whatever the argument is for that, because that stupid TYT dipshit who said that puberty blockers are actually just there to appease transphobes and they should just be given straight away. Yeah, there's room for discussion there, right? I don't think anyone's saying, Singal isn't saying ban trans healthcare. He's saying that he's against that. So, okay.
I wasn't.
I don't want to talk. I'm not trying to talk over you, but can you just give me something to latch onto? A problem you have with my work, not with the work of.
No, well, I'm explaining it to you. You don't want to engage in it. I will explain it to you. The reason why it's
I'm trying to engage in it.
Okay. The reason why it's grotesque to me in that instance is because it's one thing to sort of like create a thought experiment where you could argue there are instances where torture is a legitimate choice.
Yeah.
But it is another to do it.
Torture is not a legit, but torture.
I'm not saying that you are. I'm not saying that you are, Jesse. In fact,
we have
no, Jesse. I am using torture as an example so that you will understand my problem with your writing. I know that you think torture is abhorrent. That's why I'm.
How is it relevant? It's relevant. So I'm going to assume, because I'm almost 100% sure I know exactly what Samsen is going to say, is he's going to make the argument that maybe everything Jesse Singal is saying is true. Maybe it is true that there's more ambiguity and less of a consensus when it comes to trans healthcare for kids than we imagined. But it's really toxic that he focuses on that, because the consequence of him focusing on that is that it fuels conservatives who want to use those facts as a vehicle to destroy trans healthcare for kids, right? That's basically what the angle Samsen is going for, right? Actually, Manet Jackson, you seem to agree with him. Did I characterize him correctly there? Is that more or less what he's doing? Even if everything he's saying is true, the fact that he focuses on that and correct, yes. Okay, cool. At least one person agrees. Here's why that argument is fucking horrible to me, okay? It's a philosophical fucking nightmare, because if you start saying that certain realities are inconvenient to this political agenda, then what you do is, especially in an issue like trans healthcare for youth, which is very split, even in most liberal democracies, when you have that situation, the problem is that if you are actually willing to cede and avoid aspects of reality, because instead of own them and work around them and incorporate them into your worldview, then you are opening the door for the right-wingers to do it, whilst you look like the person who's hiding from the truth. If someone actually said, there's no circumstance ever, anywhere, in any point in human history where torture would have helped, you're fucking lying. Of course there are situations in history or that you can imagine where torture would yield positive results. You have to acknowledge that truth, and then even assuming it's true, you can still hold your position against institutionalization of torture, because it's a different thing. By the same token, there's no problem with owning the fact that trans healthcare for kids isn't like as settled a question as we used to think it is, and that certain European countries are going different ways with regards to it. But that's not a reason. Yeah, of course, that's all true. And do you know why that's true? It's because the research is new. It's not complete. So we need more research. And how do you do more research? Well, you give trans kids, you administer different forms of healthcare for trans kids. You don't ban it. So there's a really, really insidious thing about saying that what's the unsettled part? The unsettled part is how you decide whether a kid gets treatment or not. Because some people think we should go with like the constant affirmation thing. It's like start social transition, then blockers, and like this very like clear path. Other people think that there should be more challenging questions asked to them to find out whether or not they really are trans. So there's like, for some standards, it's like, I think in America, it's like 2 years of therapy before puberty blockers. And I think Jesse Singal would say that that is too conservative. That 2 years is a bit too strict. That it might be that the answer might be made clearer earlier on. That you actually don't need 2 years to decide whether or not a youth is trans. So that's the unsettled part, and it's okay to talk about that stuff. Of course it is. Do you know what? Okay, let's just see if that's actually the argument I'm going to make, though.
I'm using this as an example. There is no doubt in my mind that you agree with me totally on this perspective of torture. But let me finish so I can explain to you
my actual work.
I'm going to
my work.
Okay.
Okay, you'll get to it, I guess.
And it's also why, actually, do you know how people keep saying regret rates are really low, detransition rates are really low, even for kids? The reason that number is really low is because people are cautious. It's because very, very few kids who are identified as trans actually get puberty blockers. It's a really small percent. That's why I think even in America, it's only like 1,000. It was only recently crossed like 1,000 kids getting. Was that right? Most years it was less than 1,000 in the United States getting a gender affirming care. Like whatever it was, a really low number. But the reason, but that's why the detransition and regret rates are so low is because they're careful. Because they are proceeding with a lot of caution. And I guess the fear is that if people start administering trans healthcare like at a higher rate, then more people are going to slip through the cracks, and those detransition and regret rates might go higher. And for all medical practices, there is an acceptable level of failure. There's an acceptable percentage of people who you give them medication and it doesn't work, but you don't want to cross that acceptable level, right? You don't want to be in a situation where like even 5%, like if it was like 5% detransition rates, like that's like 1 in 20. That's a pretty big risk to take for a kid, you know? So yeah, like these processes already exist, which is why I feel like, I guess my critique of Jesse Singal is that he gets a bit obsessive, is that, and maybe the online backlash shit is maybe like clouding him a little bit, but like, I don't think it's as, if Sam's argument is really that some truths need to be suppressed to advance progressive causes, that's a horrible position to have. And I think that's more or less what he's saying. This happened to me on Twitter the other day. That fucking asshole who got upset because I said that that there is a contingent of pro-Palestine activism that's anti-Semitic. It's like, do you know how fucking insane you sound if you don't want to talk about that? If you don't want to talk about how anti-Semitism is a factor in pro-Palestinian activism, if you don't acknowledge that, you just fulfill all the fucking biases of the other side, like immediately. You just look like someone who doesn't care about it, who doesn't care about anti-Semitism. And that's like the big quiz of the, yeah, that's so dumb. Anyway.
I will, I promise. This is be much quicker. I'll be done by now. In promoting that, in that instance, in a moment when torture is on the front pages of the news, regardless of whether there was merit to the philosophical argument about the value of torture, which I would agree, and I'm convinced that you would think is abhorrent, period. What that article does is it gives cover for people who were promoting torture in places outside of Huffington Post. The writer is basically positing that they have no impact on this public debate, because I believe that if you are writing in this manner and you are promoting ideas.
Now, again, you're saying the problem is the obsession. Sam is making this argument about Sam Harris over one article. That one article was too much in the contribution in the debate on torture. That's a fucking horrible position to have. Ew.
In this manner, in public, then you must take responsibility not just for the specific content as the letters, but its impact and how it's heard and how it's used in a political struggle.
I mean, what about giving cover? How much cover does it give to the other side, like to the right? If you're like, don't talk about it, don't talk about it, don't talk about it. One article is enough for you to get fucking slated for talking about it and called insidious or fucking toxic and shit. Isn't that a thing that the right likes to say? Like, it's not like one of Ben Shapiro's catchphrases. The left doesn't want to talk about this. They never want to talk about this. The left doesn't want to talk about this. Like, yeah, that gives cover as well. Yeah.
That is going on. And I suggest that when you say the Republicans, AGs, who cited my material in the Atlantic, did so and twisted it in a way that it meant something different than it did, that at the very least, you would realize that you are being used as a means to attack trans people. And to attract,
but
to
that's
attack.
But that's why 4 days. But that's why 4 days after they put that brief out, I did a Substack post saying lying about my work.
I'm glad that you did a Substack post. In fact, that same torture guy has a whole page on his, at that time, I think it was Medium, as to why this is being misinterpreted. But do you know how many people saw the HuffPost thing versus saw that Medium thing? This is what we call in sales a funnel. I don't know why I say we, because I'm not in sales, but I read enough about it.
You're saying that a lot of people saw this fairly obscure brief over a technical aspect of Affordable Care Act enforcement. That's your argument, that was like a viral Huffington Post article?
Are you suggesting in any way, Jesse, that your work hasn't been cited over and over again by people saying, like, even the liberal Jesse Singal says that there's something problem here?
I mean, so the problem is that, with all due respect, I explained to you in the email like exactly what they did. My article said
you didn't even say when I said Republican AGs. I specifically asked you. Now you didn't publish this part of the email. You only published like the first line of it for whatever reason. But I asked you when I wanted to clarify this and catching up on it. What was defamatory? Because I think your words were straightforwardly defamatory about Matt Leck saying that your lies were cited by Republican AGs. And then you wrote back something about a tweet exchange you had with Matt about conservatives. For whatever reason, you wouldn't acknowledge this Republican AG thing was.
No, but we're referring to the same legal document. And I pointed
well, I didn't know that because you didn't say anything about that legal. I can read the email right now if you want to clarify that.
Sam,
because it seemed really manipulative of you to pretend that you had explained this to me and saying, when whatever the tweet storm that you were trying to get going, when in fact I said Republican AG and you said conservatives, some conservatives.
Sam, I think you're a little bit trying to talk over me because I'm making a very basic point here.
Okay, go ahead.
Respond or you're not.
You have the floor.
Okay. I emailed you. I pointed out that this brief said.
No, you did not use the words brief. I did not use. You did not use the words brief, Jesse. That's why.
I mean, Jesse, if you want to get specific, you got specific about the fact that a viewer wrote in and said that you cited one part of this written document by that woman, what was her name, Jamie Reed, that you didn't cite. Yep. And so if we want to be specific, then be specific about what
happened there? Did I miss something? You guys are reacting. Fuck, you guys are reacting more than
you have the floor.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Said conservatives. Some conservatives.
Sam, I think you're a little bit trying to talk over me because I'm making a very basic point here.
Okay, go ahead.
Respond or you're not.
You have the floor.
Okay. I emailed you. I pointed out that this brief said.
No, you did not use the words brief.
What the fuck? Bro, don't do that. Yeah, I feel like I haven't heard Jesse say like a full sentence yet. Have I? Maybe like. I can't believe I missed that. Oh, God. We're actually. Okay, by the way, when people complain about debate bros, right? This is actually like a debate bro thing to do, right? Like, yes, I'll allow you to speak. And then like 2 seconds in, they start to talk over you again. Oh, God. It's the President Sunday tactic. He does that a lot, doesn't he? Oh, shit. Whoa. Maybe Sam forgot. Golly.
you to it.
I did not use. You did not use the words brief, Jesse. That's why.
I mean, Jesse, if you want to get specific, you got specific about the fact that
It's also when there's two people as well, like adding in their fucking 2 cents.
A viewer wrote in and said that you cited one part of this written document by that woman. What was her name? Jamie Reed. That you didn't cite.
Yep.
And so, if we want to be specific, then be specific about what you said to Sam in this email.
Okay, let me read this because you're now claiming that you said the word brief or you said the word attorney because I asked you.
Hey, sorry, we've been talking about the same document the whole time. You can either.
Well, I didn't know this.
Why the
I didn't know this. Jesse,
there's
I
not a
don't know
sentence
your
I know.
stuff from Adam. I don't care. I said I'm
you
unclear.
don't know my
Let me
stuff.
let me
That's my
make this
point,
clear.
is that you don't know
Here,
my stuff.
I'll tell
No,
you
we
what. We'll
do.
put this up because we'll put this up.
Oh, you do know my stuff.
No. We will put up our exchange because you're mischaracterizing our exchange right now, just like you did on Twitter.
I know, but you won't let me. I'm happy to explain it.
Well, no. I get it now because I've had to go back and try and understand what you were talking
Now
about.
you get it. Okay.
But you are even in this call mischaracterizing our exchange. And this is what you do.
But this
This
really
is my
hard-headed.
experience of you. You keep saying
So
that people misunderstand me, and Sam said he was going to do this and this and that. And you're the one who creates the confusion. I don't know if you do it on purpose or if you do it because you're trying to obscure some agenda. I don't know. I don't care.
I think it's more that I sort of cleared this up 4 years ago, but none of you guys have read that post, and you keep referring to it. And that's why
Yeah,
I'm just trying to get
I
a little
don't
bit
care
of
about that post.
30-second. No, I know you don't care about it, but I'm just
Sigma.
trying to get 30 seconds to explain what happened, which you can choose not to grant me that 30 seconds, but just
I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Is he going to give him 30 seconds? I could actually bet like solid money that he won't. Listen, I'll make a bet with you guys, chat, okay? I'm going to say he doesn't get 30 seconds. And if I'm wrong, you guys give me $1,000. And if I'm right, I get $1,000. Is that okay? That fair? Place your bets, chat. Drop your numbers in right now. We're going to see who wins. Okay, let's go.
what happened, which you can choose not to grant me that 30 seconds, but just
I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Okay. They cited my work to say that gender medicine doesn't help trans adults. My work described that gender medicine as life-saving, and it quoted multiple trans adults who found it life-saving. So you can't read my article.
Halfway.
How late in the
then
piece,
say it
Jesse?
didn't
Have you
support
heard of the
gender medicine.
principle of journalism where
was at
essentially
the
you're
top of
supposed
Damn, Bance Ferdinand, you got it. 17. Well done. We got a close winner. Wait, how much do I get then? Does that mean I get $17,000 or 1,000 to make up the difference because you're 1 second off? True. All right, let's go.
the piece,
you're-
Emma.
No.
Emma,
How
this
late?
was
How
at the
long?
top
How
of
late into the piece?
Top of the piece.
How late into the piece,
Top
Jesse?
of the piece.
Jesse, I'm looking at this section that you sent me about like for sure trans affirming care. This paragraph there's 3,500 words in front of it. The section that you clipped for me.
Yeah. So that
This is the article 4 years ago, right? Life saving. He says it here. On gender dysphoric people, physical transitioning can be life enhancing, even life saving. And this is. It's a little bit far down, but also this article is fucking huge. You'd need more than an hour to read this. Yeah, it is technically on the it's on the top half. Oh shit. It's here. Are they saying that it should be like following the standards of a front page article? Because in a front page article that's like less than a 3-minute read, yeah, if you do put crucial information at the very bottom, that is malpractice. That's poor practice. But not for this. Not for a fucking 1 or 2 hour read. How long does it take to read this? Hang on. What's the word count? How do I... It's a long art. I remember it's 12K words. Yeah. Not in a 12K word article, you don't get to say... You don't get to go by that standard of... What was it she called it? There's that standard of like it has to be near the top of the article if it's a crucial... That's not the case, no. This whole article is about how gender-affirming care and it is nuanced, that it's complicated for kids. That's it. That's the entire gist of this article. Oh. Is this the play of it? SoundCloud.
Autumn presents.
It's 1 hour 24.
So you would think that the more obvious point, just basic rules of journalism.
Well, wait a
I know
second,
you're a
wait a second. I
journalist.
want to hear
No.
this. Was it 3,500 words in, or was it at the top of the piece?
Yeah, which part?
It was 3,500 words into a 12,000 word piece, so it was near the top.
It was in the top 25.
That fucking facial... Ooh.
500 words in, or was it at the top of the piece?
Yeah, which part?
It was 3,500 words into a 12,000 word piece, so it was near the top.
I really hope that what she's thinking there is, wait, am I really going to apply the standards of a 3-minute article standard, like from fucking The Guardian or something, and apply it to a 12,000 word piece? 3,500 words into a 12,000 word piece. So you're like, what, almost a quarter in? Or just over a quarter in? Is that toxic? Is it toxic for someone to write an article about how trans healthcare for youth is complicated and just over 25% into the article saying that trans healthcare for kids is life-saving and shouldn't be banned? Do I really get to call that a turf move? Do I get to call that transphobic? Fuck me.
It was in the top 25% of a 12,000 word piece. Okay.
Right. As opposed to, I mean, Jesse, have you not
Are they just dropping it?
in your work
Outside of 25%.
emphasized?
It's absolutely a transphobic article. I need someone to come into the VC and show me where the transphobia is in that article. I need a paragraph. I need a section with some content. I just need, because I read the whole thing and I really don't remember thinking it was transphobic. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe my fucking sirens aren't as sensitive as they should be. I don't think either of these two have read it. You know that? I know when Lance said that it was advocating for conversion therapy, I'm pretty sure he hadn't read it. When did you read it? I was playing Elden Ring when I read it. I think. It was in the Elden Ring days. That's just over a year ago.
Certain specific cases that are outside of the trend of the overwhelming data that shows that gender-affirming care for youth is effective and helps reduce suicidal ideation and is important, and that the sister myth essentially is a small edge case. Have you not focused on that?
No, I mean in the fucking days of in the period of my life when I was playing Elden Ring, because I remember having Elden Ring on, finding the article, and then clicking, dragging it over Elden Ring, and then reading it. I wasn't sitting there like, roll. Oh no, the big guy in the horse. Trans healthcare is barbaric and should be banned. Horse. Wait, I don't see any transphobia here. Maybe that's exactly how it went, actually. Whoops, that's crazy, chat.
Disproportionate amount versus the overwhelming other elements of data that I just described.
Oh, but what you just said is...
Did she give overwhelming data? Like, I don't think he's saying that on the whole, trans healthcare doesn't yield positive results. Fuck.
true. There is an overwhelming evidence these treatments
There is.
work.
I'm looking. Okay, have you read the Journal of Pediatrics and their clear results on this front, where they looked at children,
Yeah, you're
youth,
talking
over
about a
5
Jack Turbin
years?
paper. I've written no. So you're talking about Christina Olson's paper, not Jack Turbin's paper. I apologize. Christina Olson's paper took a group of kids who transitioned early, social transition.
Yep.
She found that 93% of them 5 years in were still in that socially transitioned role, but none of them were diagnosed with gender dysphoria. So you
Why did she say Journal of Pediatrics? Well, yeah, so she's saying, yeah, it's Christina Olson. She didn't deny that. Am I crazy here? Like, isn't the headline of the paper about social transition? Did she confuse that with health, with medical care, with medical intervention? Those are not the same thing. Is this just like Google search trans fucking healthcare results and then she just gets the first one about, oh God. I don't think the debate's not about social transition. I think I've heard Tim Pool say he's okay with with social transition.
can't compare that to the question I'm interested in, which is whether these treatments help alleviate gender dysphoria, because we don't know if the kids in Olson's sample had gender dysphoria.
They didn't even have gender dysphoria. Or they didn't know. Wait, really? I think it's this one. The study did not assess whether participants met criteria for the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition diagnosis of gender dysphoria in children. Parents didn't believe that they were ethical or useful diagnoses. I don't think she read anything that Jesse Singal has said. This is not Jesse Singal's argument. He doesn't talk about. He's talking about the complications with puberty blockers and medical transition. And she pulls up a paper of kids socially transitioning without even having a gender dysphoria diagnosis. Whoops.
You're using outdated terminology to talk about children who are already socially transitioning and showing that that is effective in their
What did he say that was outdated terminology?
Paper I've written you're talking about Christina Olson's paper, not Jack Turbin's paper. I apologize. Christina Olson's paper took a group of kids who transitioned early, social transition.
Yep.
She found that 93% of them 5 years in were still in that socially transitioned role, but none of them were diagnosed with gender dysphoria. So you can't compare that to the question I'm interested in, which is whether these treatments help alleviate gender dysphoria, because we don't know if the kids in Olson's sample had gender dysphoria.
You're using outdated terminology to talk about children.
What did he say there was? Is gender dysphoria outdated terminology? That's the only word I can think of that, or is she just, or is that just like a random word generation? Oh no. Ugh.
Children who are already socially transitioning and showing that that is effective and they're consistent after that 5-year period in their transition.
This is just an objective matter of fact. What you just said,
this is pedantic. Do you believe?
No, fuck off. There's no way you think that the difference between having gender dysphoria and not, or social transition versus medical transition, is pedantic. Oh god! Oh, this is crazy, chat. Okay.
No,
it is. Do you believe that gender affirming care works and is overwhelmingly effective with children? Do
wow. Okay. Back to basics.
Believe it?
Wow.
I am with the 5 European countries who have looked into this question closely, and all of them are like, we don't know yet. We need more data. So no, it's not established.
Okay.
It is established.
All right. Well, so you don't believe
It's
it.
not established,
No. But you just changed the question that she asked you.
I'm not
There's
sure
no
yet.
doubt.
I'm a
Listen,
science journalist.
listen.
I have to go on the data.
We are aware. I am aware that the Dutch protocol is no longer being used in these 5 European countries, and that they're looking at more data. I'm also aware of like hundreds of situations where Europeans and Americans have different protocols, and
Yeah.
part of that process in which there is some like sort of like broad agreement is that doctors work this stuff out. You clearly have an agenda,
Oh.
and you recoil at the idea that people suggest that you have an agenda. Now, you think that your agenda, you think that your agenda is founded in a science that is not available to other people. And I'm suggesting, like, you know, like, I have no problem with doctors.
It's totally available to you guys.
No.
No, you're not.
No,
it's available to me now.
It is
The Journal of
completely obscure to us
Pediatrics.
because, as you've said on your show,
Sorry, you guys are talking one. Can you just talk one at a time? I can't hear
Sure.
my shitty speaker.
Because as you've said on your show, we're doing this just to A, make cash, and B, seen as like more righteous than other people. I've listened to at least part of one of your shows. And so I know that you said this. I know you said this, Jesse. I know that you feel this. Now, I do not attribute to you some type of like intent. I don't
Do you
know
think
that
when they said they'll give him 30 seconds, they actually meant like total for the entire conversation?
you're making
They got
cash
someone to Sam Cedar's left with a stopwatch just fucking poking him.
off this or what it is. I just see what the impact of what you do is, and I think it's reprehensible. And that's it.
Well, but I've already explained to you guys.
No, I'm not just talking about limited
instance you
to.
raised of that was misinterpreted, and you changed the debate into, okay, you did say that, but it wasn't high enough.
Hey,
And it's
listen,
weird
Jesse,
because you
I didn't
wanted to
say
fight
anything in the
to
beginning.
interpret
I wouldn't have known about
Sorry.
this, and no one would have known about it except for your.
You could get Jesse on. Yeah, I'm sure it could. Yeah. The only thing is I'm not like fucking. I guess I don't have the level of fucking arrogance that these two seem to, because Jesse Singal is like, again, he's obsessed with trans issues. Like, I'm gonna have to read fucking every paper from the last 20 years on transition for youth, and then I'll talk to Jesse Singal. Okay. You know what? Maybe I'll do that. I'll maybe make that my next project. I haven't done a research project in a while.
Your insistence that it was straightforwardly defamatory, that you had been cited by Republican AGs, and that what had been cited was lies. And you said to me in an email it was straightforwardly defamatory. I got news for you. You don't know what the word straightforwardly means, and I'm not sure you know what the word defamatory means.
I never claimed to be. It could just be you guys are smarter than me on this stuff, but do you think the sentence in that legal brief accurately describes my work? That's all I'm asking.
What sentence?
I don't know.
The sentence that there's no consensus that transition alleviates gender dysphoria. Do you think that accurately describes my
That quote, was that quote from your
pull it up. It's right there. We've been through
was
this
that
on
quote
Twitter and
from
email
your
several
piece?
times,
Well, Jesse, then let me just ask you directly once again. Do you believe that the established standards of care in the United States are effective and should be implemented to help children as they begin to transition in their youth?
I think the standard of care in the United States is, don't you have to do therapy for at least a year or two? Is it even more than 2 years before you get medical transition? Why would she support that? That seems like quite conservative, doesn't it? That seems quite that seems backwards to me almost. I don't think you would need.
The standards of care say that kids should get like 1 to 2 years of therapy before they transition.
1 to 2 years.
So that might be too conservative, but it's something like that.
Okay, I pre-watched. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what's the
So
issue?
then what's the problem?
Those are the new standards of care. The question is whether people are following them.
Okay, well, you know what?
I doubt Emma.
But the evidence that you've shown, the Jamie Reed whistleblower, bro, has been discredited over and over again, and you wrote a whole write-up about that.
She hasn't been discredited?
Not been discredited?
Hold on, a couple things. Guys, one thing at a time. Emma.
Wait, she
Did
has.
she just completely gloss over that the American standards that he thinks the American standard, which you just championed a second ago, but he thinks it's too conservative? Did she just back off of that like straight away?
Hasn't been discredited?
I want to see just like this pivot. This pivot's incredible.
Okay, well, you know what?
I doubt Emma.
But the evidence that you
is whether people are following them.
problem.
Those are the new standards. Yeah, something like that. Before they transition, so that might be too conservative, but
No,
yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Okay.
Okay, so what's the
So
issue?
then what's the problem?
Oh God.
Those are the new standards of care. The question is whether people are following them.
Okay, well, you know what?
I doubt Emma.
But the evidence that you've shown, the Jamie Reed whistleblower, bro, has been discredited over and over again, and you wrote a whole write-up about that.
Yeah, I would imagine they would vary across states. Isn't that the case? Yeah.
She hasn't been discredited?
Not been discredited?
Hold on, a couple things. Guys, one thing at a time. Emma.
Wait, she hasn't been discredited?
Can we finish it?
Well, can I just be clear on what you said?
I'm happy to talk to you.
She has not been
Let me
discredited.
finish my point.
Okay, wait.
Okay, let me finish.
You
my
just
point.
said something.
Emma.
I just want to. I was talking over you. I just want to make sure you said it. Jamie Reed has not been discredited in your mind.
I'm happy to address this. I just want to finish up the thing about the standards of care because I think that's super important, actually.
You didn't say this. I'm just curious about what you said just a couple of seconds
They
ago.
really don't want to. She just completely walked face first into a wall with that standard of American healthcare thing. I guess she wanted him to say that the standard of 1 to 2 years of therapy before transitioning is actually like too liberal or too soy. I think she wanted to say something like that. But no, they need to move on now because that was not good for her.
On this show.
I'd like to finish.
Hey,
up
dude,
the
I got a
point if you don't
big
mind.
guest that's coming up in a minute.
Has
so-
Jamie Reed been discredited or no?
Emma, it sounds to me that you think kids should get 1 to 2
How
years of therapy.
has
That's in the
Jamie
SOCA.
Reed,
Here we go.
who was not
She has not been-
intimately
no, no,
involved?
She has not been discredited.
Oh, that's interesting
been
to me.
discredited.
That's
Okay, so
interesting
we
because,
gotta- we gotta
we've
move
got to run, but people can look this up. There have been
2 years is a really long amount of time. Yeah, but that's why. Why did she just say, "Do you agree with the American standard of healthcare for the?" And he's like, I guess it's maybe a bit conservative, the American one, and then she just completely I don't think she even knew what the American standard was. Oh God, because I feel like most progressives would say 2 years is too long. As a hard line, at least, so even 1 year. Yeah.
lies over and over proven that she has put out there, which you
Okay.
took at face
Emma,
value.
when you come on the show, can we just get a little bit more specific about the SOC
Honestly,
stuff? 'Cause I do wanna pick up
dude,
that
I
thread.
mean, look, I want to engage in good faith, and we have now had this conversation, and to be honest with you, like, I don't back down from anybody, but I really think you should just have a trans person on or an activist or someone of that kind, because I cover a bunch of issues on this program. We cover politics on a daily basis from different perspectives, and
Okay, so
You
you're
should
backing out, though, is what you're saying.
sure. I to be honest with you,
you're
you
Based
called
upon
in
your original
based-
complaint to me, I will, as
I
a
need to look into this Jamie Reed thing because I think that was the one where he's saying that Jamie Reed wasn't discredited. I don't think that's. I thought this person was absolutely discredited. Didn't they give like didn't they leak false information to him? Trying to find a. It's all like partisan sources. I'm just gonna go with a random one. Sworn affidavit in the Free Press allegations that Washington University Transgender Center, where she was a caseworker for over 4 years, was rushing minors into harmful medicalization. Like the stream, chat. It's crazy, chat. Okay, hang on. Missouri Independent. Rushing minors into oh, so yeah, she said okay. And where's the proof that this was bad data that was being leaked? I have no idea what City Journal is. I just looked at I just picked a bunch of fucking random articles on it. Because it's like, this is what they give you. You get Jesse Singal's Substack, assigned media. This is saying Jamie Reed's misinformation was exposed by Jesse Singal. How does that work?
A boss, I will suspend her if she goes on your show.
We had a back and forth over email. We couldn't
You called
find
the manager.
time, and
You
I
didn't
really
get the response
I
you
don't want to
wanted.
give this
Emma,
more
okay,
life.
You're backing out. It's unfortunate. I was
If
hoping
that,
to
hey
have you on
Jesse,
because you
Jesse.
guys,
Jesse, if that's what you want to hang your hat on, have a good rest of the week, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, we appreciate the
Okay.
call, Jesse.
Yeah, couldn't care less. Thank you. Bye.
It's right at the top of the piece.
All
3,500
right,
words.
let's get into a serious debate.
Yes,
ladies
here we
and
go.
gentlemen.
There's still a serious debate, yeah. Now that there's not a guest in our way to have this serious debate. Bro, like, Jesus. I'm actually quite impressed how well she got away with that. Sam with the fucking just like Fox News levels of interruption and railroading, and Emma like let's recap on everything that she did there. She said that she tried to use evidence of social transition on kids who were not diagnosed with gender dysphoria as evidence that trans medical transition works for youths. I guess she just Googled transition benefits and just grabbed the first link she could find. She didn't seem to know what the American standard of healthcare was, championed it for 1 second, and then he even responded by saying it might be too conservative. So, oh, God. But I guess she just kind of like slid past both of those things, isn't she? Or trying to apply the journalistic standard of don't put important information right at the end of an article on a 12,000 word piece, which is quite oh, God. That's just a mess. Feel none the wiser. Maybe I want to look into that Reed story, though. I've been meaning to do that for a wee while. But not yet. We have bigger fish to fry now. We're going to get into this Noah Samsen drama. That's what we're going to do. So, Think Before You Sleep and Noah Samsen, okay? The two fucking titans of woke and anti-woke on the internet. Oh, the unstoppable force, the immovable object. The titan meets the giant. Fucking. So Ash Sarkar made the video about trad wives and why, and kind of not so subtly associated them with Nazis and white nationalists and shit. It's kind of dumb. He responded to it in the dumbest way possible. The Think Before You Sleep guy. And now I guess Noah's going to take him to task. That's enough information, right? Okay, let's go.
Hello everyone, it's
Hello.
me, Curtis Connor 14 Pro Max, here for another video on YouTube.com. Today we're going to be looking at a video from the Anti-Woke YouTube channel, Think Before You Sleep. I use anti-woke in a general sense. It's kind of anti-feminist, anti-SJW sort of stuff. This video, called How Woke Propaganda Works, is a reaction video to a video from Novara Media, and it's hosted by Ash Sarkar. I'm just going to play his video, which plays her video and his reaction. And then I'm going to talk about what we're seeing. It's going to be slow, it's going to be clunky and chunky, but we're going to have fun with it, and we love it. Thank you. Let's go.
Lately, I've been seeing this thing pop up on social media.
We are going to talk about how you can become a traditional wife.
Some younger millennials and Zoomers have decided to embrace living la vida casserole, dedicating themselves to cooking, cleaning, and child rearing while their husbands or boyfriends, I don't know, chop firewood or go to their job in human resources. This isn't just about personal choice or individual preferences. It's advancing a right-wing political ideology and dressing it up as a lifestyle.
Oh no, women doing housework, child rearing.
I feel like, yeah, I don't know. You can probably say that trad people do have, like, obviously trad couples will have like a right-wing leaning, but some people also just want that lifestyle on both sides. It's not necessarily like, especially in today's society where you can choose. That was the big problem I had with the Ash videos. Like, people can choose today. So unless they actually are using their TikTok channels and their trad wife fucking blogs to force to try to say that we should impose that lifestyle on other people, unless they're doing that, I just see it again. I just see it as a modern dom sub relationship. That's all it is, anyway.
Right wing, traditional. What has this world come to? This is terrible. Somebody please save us from this deeply misogynistic movement where women are choosing to stay home instead of working a job.
Ow. So that's what this video is like. Random stock image, smug, whiny commentary that takes the first 20 seconds of the introduction to a video and does a little bit of a straw man, summarizing the trad wife social media phenomenon as women choosing to stay home and work.
Deeply misogynistic movement where women are choosing to stay home instead of working a job.
It's a classic example of a straw man. However, I think we can grant some leniency because it's a sarcastic kind of like preaching to the choir that already gets what I'm saying sort of thing. So let's just keep watching and check it out.
Why is this important? 3 things. These women are often really young, in their 20s, and they're preaching the values of submitting to a husband to an audience of other young women.
Gee, as opposed to what the mainstream left is promoting to young children during family-friendly...
Would you consider it dom sub even if it's not sexual? Kind of? I don't know that much about dom sub relationships, but I think there are still dom sub relationships where they have like that dynamic even outside of sex. Yeah. I don't think that's that unusual.
events. Also, why is submitting to a partner bad if it's done so by choice?
This video has 300,000 views, and the channel has 700,000 subscribers, and this is the level of commentary. Pure, raw, unfiltered whataboutism, straight from the source. He is here referencing the right-wing propaganda movement to frame things like Drag Queen Story Hour as being inherently predatory towards children, and turning them trans, hitting them with the trans ray. Part of the problem here is that the audience for this kind of video is so fully bought into right-wing propaganda that an assertion like that can just go fully unchallenged. They listen to Ben Shapiro, they follow libs of TikTok, they see the constant misrepresentation of drag queens and trans people, grouping those together because they like to just sort of group them together, and how RuPaul is coming to your house to break through your window to hit your child over the head with a hardcover copy of The Giving Tree. It's very scary and very real stuff that's going on.
Also, why is submitting to a partner bad if it's done so by choice? You just said a thing with a negative tone without explaining why it's wrong. Particularly,
the way that this guy commentates is so funny, though. It's just...
when one of the most common things women ask for in a relationship is leadership from men.
Source? Can we get a source? Me, when I pull an idea out of thin air, the most commonly cited thing that women want is for me to go to bed at my bedtime. The woman is my mom, and she represents the thoughts and feelings of women across the globe. Also, he's like, you're using this negative tone without explaining why it's wrong. You're 40 seconds into the video. The video hasn't started. This is the introduction.
Couldn't you call almost anything dom sub? Is it dom sub to carry the grocery bags for your girlfriend? No. Dom sub is when you like exaggerate, and it's like almost like a out of the norm power imbalance between you and your partner, like out of the norm, like almost like performed but also agreed upon. So no, I don't think carrying the grocery bags is like dom sub. No. Is it like when you're fucking someone, like it's dom sub just depending on who's on top? Like no.
The points are being listed out, and then they're gonna go in detail if you watch the video. All you gotta do is watch the video. But this person is allergic to pre-watching, which we love on this channel. We love it when they're contradicted later and then they just don't even bring it up. But maybe he's a mind reader. Let's watch.
The tradwife trend doesn't exist in isolation. It's linked to deeply regressive political and social movements such as Christian and white nationalism and anti-feminism.
Well, we knew they couldn't make it the whole video without calling someone far right. Ignoring the fact that I bet if you actually surveyed the women who run these tradwife channels, none of them listen to Nick Fuentes.
Me, when I make stuff up, I love the way he does that. I bet if you asked these people this thing, they'd say what I think, because that's how statistics work.
Connections can also be more explicit. One mumfluencer...
no, I think it's... I think if tradwives were pushing Nick Fuentes shit on their channels, I feel like someone would have evidence of that, right? Like, I feel like Ash would have. She seems to have gone through quite a few of these tradwife TikToks. She probably could have just shown them doing Nick Fuentes style. I don't know how many women watch Nick Fuentes. It's probably not that many, right?
called Wife with a Purpose, issued a white baby challenge, calling on women to have as many white babies as possible. This is an idea central to neo-Nazism.
I love how it's showing a Christian nationalist and then a white nationalist is just calling people far right with no basis. They are those things. They are self-proclaimed. You can see it in the it's look at the shirt. Listen to Nick Fuentes anytime he's talking. That's what he is. It's okay to just like live in reality, you know?
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool.
We knew they couldn't make it the whole video without calling someone far right.
He also just once again...
But I thought they were calling... I thought the problem was that she was calling trad people far right, not Fuentes. Am I wrong? Or I feel like we're about to just get the fucking gold mine of miscommunications in these videos. Oh no.
Puts words in her mouth. She didn't say that the women that run these tradwife accounts listen to Nick Fuentes. She said something different than that, which you can run it back and listen if you want, but it wasn't that.
Also, how are Christians regressive? I mean, Muslims have traditional values. Are they regressive too? It's weird that only one religion was mentioned during the entire video. But again, you're just saying things are bad with no reason why.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to put on a coat because, you know, sometimes you're just a chilly boy. He asked the question here, how are Christians regressive? But that's not what she said. She said that Christian nationalism and anti-feminism are regressive, and those aren't the same thing as Christianity. It's really nice that when he's done making what he thinks is a point, he says, also, really makes it easy to debunk each thing he says because they're separated, nice and easy. Bringing up the fact that Ash is a Muslim and finger-wagging, well, actually, to an argument she never made. It's goofy behavior, that's what I would call it, goofy behavior. Preaching to the choir behavior, because they don't care. They aren't intellectually logged in, they are getting mad. This video is making them mad, it's supposed to make them mad, and it's succeeding. It is 99% likes.
It's part of a wider shift of young people being dissatisfied with neoliberalism and wanting social change.
I have no idea what she just said, so I'm going to go by what the red highlighted text says.
I'm uneducated, and I'm making that your problem. I remember there's some old anti-SJW videos that did this same thing.
I feel like every laugh Noah does is fake in these videos. Is that just me? Am I just insane? Whatever.
So, like most people who grew up immersed in the neoliberal ideology of the West.
What? Neoliberal ideology of the West.
Oh no.
Let's just break that one down for a moment, shall we? Neo, meaning new. Liberal, the idea that the world should be governed on a principle of liberty and equality for all people. And this is supposed to somehow be a bad thing to think.
Loudly proclaiming that you don't know what a word means. It's supposed to be like a comedic thing, like, oh, the woke left is going so far with their terms, they're just making words up. When neoliberalism is really a politics 101 concept, at least understanding the basics of the term and what she's trying to say here. It's not a simple concept, but acting like it's a new thing it's silly. You know, it's silly.
I do know what neoliberalism means, but that's because I learned the word before I was on online politics. But now that I've heard the way people use it in online politics, I actually don't know what neoliberalism means anymore. Right now, I think neoliberalism just means like anything from Margaret Thatcher to self-described socialist who doesn't want to put people in camps. I don't know. It's just, it's so broad. It just gets used in the most fucking brain dead way. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, before online politics, neoliberal meant Thatcher. It meant deregulation. It meant small government. It meant, ironically, higher spending for police and military, but also like low taxes, free flow of capital across the world. Also, actually, like more slackening of borders as well between countries. That's what neoliberalism means. IMF loans in exchange for structural adjustment programs. But you come online, it's like I oppose neoliberalism like massively. It's like Thatcherism and Reaganism, but I get called neoliberal for what? Okay, yeah, fuck. I get called neoliberal a lot actually, but it's just because people, yeah, the meaning of it changed somewhere.
I have no idea what she just said, so I'm going to go by what the red highlighted text says. A misguided expression of the desire for social change. Again, just one little example of what you're talking about to show why the trend is bad. I understand that this is like an outline of your speech, but at least give me a teaser so if I only watch the intro, I know why this is bad, as opposed to only knowing that this is bad.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, he admitted. He just admitted it. This is responsible content creation 101. It's one thing if you're a viewer and you need a little bit more context in the introduction to a video, but you're a content creator making a critique. You are critiquing the ideas here, you disagree with them, and you are so lazy that you can't just watch the video first. That's all you have to do. Is watch the video first. I need a little treat, a little teaser before I can decide if I want to eat the meal.
Surely between calling your opponents far-right extremists and all that expensive and fancy editing, you can afford to do that. But maybe it's not the purpose of a media outlet that clearly bleeds money to be honest about their portrayal of info. And when I say bleeds money, I mean that this 300K sub channel called Novara Media has trouble hitting 50K views on an average video, yet somehow is able to afford a staff of multiple pundits, editors, expensive equipment, and a studio. With all these expenses, there is no way this channel makes money, so clearly someone is paying for this information to be spread.
This is where a fun conspiracy begins. He speculates that this channel must be bleeding money, while not mentioning the fact that they have thousands of
because they're viewer funded. They do have a lot of donors. I think it's like 6,000 donors, that is a lot for. But that's because Novara, it's not just the YouTube channel though. They've got their website where they have they publish articles. They make appearances on BBC Question Time or BBC Politics all the time. So they are well known. It's not surprising that they would have a few more donors per subscriber than the average fucking YouTube channel who is just on YouTube, you know? Yeah, the conspiracy theory is fucking wild. This guy,
donors and paying subscribers outside of YouTube. He mentions it later, but that's why this claim that they're bleeding money is speculative at best and dishonest at worst. Also, to be clear, this is a media organization that is building a YouTube presence, and just because that YouTube presence has yet to become profitable on its own, somehow means that there must be secret people behind the scenes pulling the strings. This gets really good though here.
What is Novara Media? Who is this presenter, Ash Sarkar? Well, I found this video of her on Piers Morgan where she says this.
Because I'm literally a communist.
That's not a shock. But what is a shock is that you can buy jewelry of that quote or t-shirts that say marks on them on the Novara Media website shop, which is very capitalist of them.
Red-handed.
Wait, did that jewelry page say topple and burn? Yep, it did. You can't make this stuff up. A group of communists literally partnered with a company called Topple and Burn, which really just signifies the sort of violent behavior that communists are known for. This stuff is just right in your face.
He's actually got a point here. Topple and burn is a pretty dangerous dog whistle. Some of you may recall the January 6th protesters decked out in their merch. As soon as you put on the necklace, it makes you storm the White House. It's true. Many are saying this.
Anyway, then I stumbled.
I feel like if you wanted to criticize the topple and burn rhetoric, you could probably point to something like Chaz or... Wait, do I want to talk about this? I don't think we have enough information, but I think it's worth commenting on. or just noticing that it's happened. Do you guys remember Stop Cop City? The I think it's the organization that FD Signifier was repping in one of his videos. I don't know if this is like bad faith, brutal crackdown and shit, but apparently there have been 61 people indicted on racketeering charges. Militant anarchists, violent, and there's a lot of like accusations of like vandalism here. I don't know why, but somehow they're like linking it to domestic terrorism as well, which is probably a bit mental, but also like I know that there have been like there's been lots of cases of arson or Molotov cocktails or fucking people attacking, like destroying police cars, and but yeah, we got like accusations of money laundering. We've got I think one protester died and got killed by the police, I think. Chasing off police with masks, torching construction equipment. That's what got them charged with domestic terrorism. Trying to stop them from the construction site of Cop City. $61 racketeering invite. Atlanta Solidarity Fund provided bail money and helped find attorneys for arrested protesters, indicted on 15 counts of money laundering. And I think, isn't this Fulton County? These are the same, this is the same area that went after Trump, wasn't it? Isn't there kind of like an overlap here between the charges against Trump? Yes. You were posting screenshots about this in the Discord yesterday. It's like the same anti-racketeering laws. Is that what it is? That's someone at my door. Hang on. Yeah, I feel like deliveries are kind of an issue these days because there's so many times when people come to my door and like, oh, I thought it would be delivered to you, or yeah, fuck. Anyway, yeah. So this is the same act that Trump was indicted under. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see what's going to happen there. Violent anti-police sentiment persisted amongst some Atlantans and remains one of the demonstrators' core driving motives, according to the indictment. Numerous incidents of violence and vandalism linked to the movement. Police car was set alight. Mass protesters chasing off police at the construction site. Torching construction equipment. Dozens of people being charged with domestic terrorism, although prosecutors previously admitted they've had difficulty proving that many of those arrested were, in fact, those who took part in the violence. Okay, so still, that's why it's still early days. The story just came out last night. But still, I will say, sounds crazy, chat. Sounds crazy.
But across
I will say, like, some of the information around that Cop City thing, I think the majority of Atlantans support it, but I think but the number is driven up by support from white people in Atlanta, but I think black people in Atlanta are split on it. I think it's like the last statistic I saw for it was like 44 in favor and 48 against something. Like it was like surprisingly close. Wonder if I can find the opinion poll. Posted a poll I found in the Discord. What, recently? Like just now? Where? 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 Need it again. Fuck. Is it in memes? No. Fuck. We're getting so sidetracked here. Oh, the Emery poll. Was that it? There's only a video of it, but not images or okay. I think this is where it came from.
Thank you so much. A new poll conducted by 2 Emory University professors shows the city is sharply split on a proposed public safety training center. Sometime.
Give me the data.
Safety training percent of Atlanta.
So yeah, Atlanta, the majority, 48 support, 45 opposed. But when you break it down by race, I think it's here.
A toss-up. The poll showed greater.
So white people are by far in favor of it, like quite strong margin, but black people, 43.5 support it, 47.3 oppose it. So it's quite a wild thing to be protesting against with violence, of all things. Yeah.
Across their Support Us page where it says, defy billionaire-backed media and back truly independent journalism.
Oh, thanks,
I wish I recorded my initial laughter while reading this because I work in this industry and there is no way that they could afford this staff with a small YouTube channel.
Why is the racial breakdown even relevant? I think it's because it's being built in a black area. I think that's why it's relevant.
And independent donors.
Okay. I work in this industry. You have a YouTube channel, man. You have a YouTube channel. Anyone with a blog is just working in the industry now. And look, I get that he's trying to say he has a YouTube channel. It's successful. He understands the rough breakdown of ad revenue and things like that. Still very funny to call having a YouTube channel working in the industry. The industry he doesn't work in, though, is the journalism industry, the one that takes into account the donors and speculates on another channel's earnings. Pocket watching. This is called pocket watching. I'm gonna skip ahead after this part because he's just doing a thing where he's just like being kind of mean, I guess.
Novara Media wants you to know that they know what the cool kids are into.
Mainstream media sucks.
It literally
Amazing dance moves, Ash.
Why are you shitting on Ash's dance move? She's just having a good time in that video. Come on, man. I challenge you, think before you sleep, to post a video of you dancing and see how people on the internet talk about you. Just saying. He uploads a stock image of Aruba bouncing up and down or something. What? I'm literally one of the images. I'm dancing. This is me dancing.
Now let's go over the numbers.
Nice.
Novara Media boasts that
Crazy
they,
chat.
at the time of the video, had 200,000 subs and 2.5 million monthly views, which sounds like a lot, but it's not nearly enough to accrue 6,000 donors. I don't know any 200K subscriber channels with anywhere near that number of donors.
That's because they're not just a YouTube channel, you fucking more. Okay, wait.
I get like double their monthly views. I have promoted donations in the past on many videos, and I don't even have 200 monthly supporters between Patreon and Subscribestar.
This one's so good. This one's so good. I've completely failed at building a Patreon audience, so everyone must also do that.
How's my Patreon doing? Oh my god, Patreon is being fucking horrible with people's payments. Like the payment processing just sent people down a fucking hole. Yeah, it has actually led to a bit of a drop off. Yeah, because some people's payments just aren't processing, and then they just like, there's like, okay, fuck, this isn't getting fixed, so whatever. I saw ContraPoint spoke about it as well. 275 patrons. It's all right. It's moving again, which is nice because it didn't move for a while. I think the segments make it good. Also, if you want to support my channel, chat, go to Patreon. Go to Patreon. It's the best way you can support my channel, chat. It's crazy, chat.
Again, the logic here is just bonkers.
Yeah, okay. Oh, no, it doesn't have that many patrons. Wow, I thought you'd have millions.
The reason I'd imagine no one wants to sub to his Patreon is because he's not.
Do you also do YouTube memberships? You have a YouTube membership, Demi Garcia. I can see it on your name. You have a membership.
A particularly entertaining or talented creator. He just shovels the right-wing slop into the audience's mouths. This is modern-day Fox News. They sit there and they watch. They get mad at the source material because it's being misrepresented, of course. And then they go on about their days. Paying extra to hear more of this guy's voice? No thanks. None for me, thanks. I thank you, but none for me, thanks.
And I don't even have 200 monthly supporters between Patreon and Subscribestar. So who gave them the exposure to get thousands of donors?
BBC?
You would need monthly.
They go on the BBC a lot. British broadcasting cock. They're
views at least in the tens of millions to get that.
Where's your first part over this? It's on yesterday's stream.
Right now to any of the
which you can watch if you get a membership. I'm gonna paywall it. I haven't actually done that yet, but I should. Fuck you guys.
Top pages on Patreon. Think before you sleep. I'm talking to you. Maybe you'll respond to this, maybe you won't, but if you're watching my video, go to the thing and look at the viewership. They don't need 10 million. They don't even need 1 million. It's just, you need to just have a good content and a good relationship with the audience. It's harder for you because you do propaganda and they don't care about you. They care about getting mad. That's it. Okay, this is where the real expose begins. Here we go. This is good.
Here's where things get more interesting. I went to this website here and found that Novara Media partners with a group called the Media Fund, who also partners with a group called Open Democracy.
No.
Open Democracy receives money from the Ford Foundation, and it also received hundreds of thousands of dollars in 2021 from the Open Society Foundations.
Notice what just happened there. He just jumped from one thing to the next thing to the next thing without proving a real connection. Novara Media partners with the Media Fund. The Media Fund partners with Open Democracy. Notice Novara Media doesn't partner with Open Democracy. It's a guilt by association. There's an intermediary party.
Some of you tinfoilers might already know who runs the Open Society Foundations, but for those of you who don't, let's go to their website. Oh, look, it's billionaire George Soros. I swear when you study this stuff enough, it feels like all paths eventually lead to George Soros.
Okay, that's weird comment there. But again, Novara Media is not funded by George Soros. This is full speculation and guilt by association dressed up as investigative journalism. It's horrible. It's hilarious.
I will say, guilt by association is kind of the entire problem of Ash Sarkar's video though, right? She wasn't saying what was inherently wrong with trad stuff, or she didn't have a good case for that. So she just said like, no, these people, like a lot of them are neo-Nazis and white supremacists. And like, that's not really an inherent issue to trad life though. Like you can easily, like I could be a trad husband and that wouldn't change my fucking opinions on white people or whatever the fuck, you know?
Seriously bad.
We're free for all to access, free from ad partnerships, free from paywalls, and free from the influence of the super rich.
The founder of Novara Media, this guy here, Aaron Bastani, has also written for the George Soros-funded Open Democracy, and Novara Media did a podcast with Open Democracy's founder as well. So who exactly is funding you again?
My favorite tech YouTuber did an interview with Bill Gates, and ever since then, it's all woke 5G vaccine propaganda. Again, trying to prove a link by association. So snarky and smug, and all just so obviously wrong and reaching.
Also, according
I will say, we're all snarky in this space. Like, let's be frank, you know? It's fun. Have you ever noticed, this is a really good way to test yourself. It's like, everyone's okay with smugness unless it's someone you disagree with or if they're wrong. Or it's someone you don't like. Yeah. Oh, other than that, everyone loves smugness, yeah.
According to The Guardian, this group called the Media Fund that Novara Media is a part of has all sorts of regulations, which means not only do they probably have billionaire donors, but they also have a politically driven regulatory organization that they have to adhere to.
The National Union of Journalists Code of Conduct, which is to demonstrate a commitment to factual and accurate reporting, and within a year of joining, become fully unionized workplaces. It does say new partners must be approved by existing partners, suggesting that right-wing outlets are unlikely to be selected. But again, does that prove an agenda? No, it doesn't. It shows a general trend of the types of publications that get selected, but the wokeism comes before that selection. They're already woke. There's no one telling them to be woke. Again, Again, I'm using woke in the way they understand it. To them, it means left-wing, liberal, anything over there. That's what it means. Shout out to little Joel.
Hey, booby champs.
Okay, so now we're moving forward to the meat and potatoes here, which is the claim about propaganda. The first claim being it's full of straw man arguments, this video from Ash Sarkar. Let's set aside the fact that the video so far has had billions of straw man arguments and just see what he's got to say.
More importantly, though, and now that we know who's behind this company, this tradwife video from Novara Media is an excellent example of using heavy amounts of propaganda to get you to believe a certain narrative without any actual evidence that what they are saying is true. So let's get back to Ash Sarkar and discuss how the propaganda works.
Oh yeah, one of the things this guy did was that he criticized the lack of evidence. And I think there were a couple of sources that Ash cited in not the best way, but this guy... One of his points was just a clip of Jordan Peterson, and that was his source. I'm like, fucking hell. But he called him a psychology expert, so it's okay, you know?
By first showing you how they only use one-sided straw man arguments.
Like with the example of finances, the idea of submission is that by giving up her independence, autonomy, and power, a woman will be taken care of by a good and godly man. She serves him, he serves Christ, but only one person is scrubbing out the toilet.
Okay, and only one person is dealing with an asshole boss. Only one person is repairing the stuff that breaks. Only one person is lifting the heavy stuff. Seriously, these feminists love to forget all the traditional male house chores, while at the same time being incredibly demeaning and insulting to men in their portrayals.
You know, the reason Ash describes what the male's role is here as just serving Christ is that historically there is an imbalance. The idea that these traditional gender roles are a one-to-one exchange is false. That's why feminists historically have fought for what they've fought for. It's really pedantic to take Ash's outline of this idea and declare it a straw man when it's not even the argument. You're just taking everything she says and breaking it down like it's too much. It's bad. It's dishonest. Like, listen to the next part.
The influence of fundamentally...
Again, even if the relationship is unequal in terms of exchange, that's still actually okay if both sides consent to it. That can happen. I can't remember where I heard this. It might have been a TV show or something. Wasn't there like some couple going to couples therapy or something, and like the couple and the therapist actually said like the way that you guys work is that one of you is a giver and one's a taker. Like some people, yeah, which can be toxic and unhealthy and all that, but for some people that's what both sides want to do. Yeah.
Religion extends far beyond whatever private arrangements a couple may have as part of a household. Tradwife culture is dominated by aggressively anti-abortion, anti-birth control, and anti-sex views.
At the start of the video, he makes the point that Ash is declaring traditional gender roles as inherently misogynistic.
Somebody please save us from this deeply misogynistic movement where women are choosing to stay home instead of working a job.
But here she is very clearly refuting that notion.
And look, I'm not saying there's anything inherently degrading about being a mum or making nice meals. I like cooking elaborate dinners. For that matter, my boyfriend does too.
Why didn't he delete that part from the beginning of the video? Because he does not care about being honest. That's not the point here. The point here is shovel, 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 shovel.
I like cooking elaborate dinners. For that matter, my boyfriend does too.
Now you might say it's just a coincidence that she talks about how she can make complex meals while making her boyfriend look stupid. Surely they aren't intentionally trying to make men look bad here.
Okay, this is where we get to...
Oh no. I can see why Noah chose to go after this guy, because he's like such an easy target, isn't he? And it is funny. He's one of those people you can react to, and it's like the clips that you use of him are funny in and of themselves. Like you don't really need to commentate that much. That's just an extra. Yeah, the insecurity there is fucking insane. Whoa.
To the sort of incel vibes from this guy. She plays a clip of him, being silly with the whisker. And he's like, you're making him look so stupid. How could you do this?
Is it called a whisker or is it called a whisk? I thought it was just called a whisk. Why, did people call it a whisker? It's a whisk. Do Americans call it whiskers? Uh-oh.
He must be so embarrassed that his girl is making him look like a cuck. But it's like, bro, it's a silly clip. It's a silly clip. An example of him making an elaborate dinner and being a little silly while he does it. How is that her making him look bad? It's just funny. Super triggered and sensitive at the slightest hint that a guy is being poked fun at. And he's not even being poked fun at. They're dating. It's fine. It's funny. Chill the fuck out.
Though the idea of women being confined to the home while men do things like go outside and work isn't exactly new.
Is there any comparative description here that doesn't attempt to make men look like crap? Women are confined to the home while men can just do whatever they want. Maybe they go outside and work, or maybe they won't. This video has BuzzFeed levels of self-awareness.
She didn't say men can do whatever they want. She said men are working. Somehow he has managed to get lazier than he already was by just completely not listening to a 5-second clip. It's a 5-second clip, man.
You could easily flip this and say that men are forced to do the will of a boss all day while a woman gets to stay home watching soap operas and doing whatever she wants.
Men going outside and going to work, which is what she said,
while men do things like go outside and work,
is in the inverse summarized as women staying home and watching soap operas all day.
I bet if women actually gave men a choice to stay at home versus work for some boss they don't like or for rude customers, a giant portion of them would gladly not go to work.
So here he's being an accidental feminist by promoting the concept of a stay-at-home dad. The anti-feminist framing is, being a stay-at-home mom is better for you, actually. It's easier and better for you, and you like it. When the feminist framing is, you can be a stay-at-home mom, we have no problem with that. All we're saying is that you should have the right and autonomy to choose. Very simple, very simple.
Oftentimes I hear, and keep in mind this isn't data or anything, this is just anecdotal. Could have a lot to do with the selection bias and the people who wind up in my office. But that it's kind of completely acceptable to a lot of my male patients that they have a partner that doesn't earn money and that a homemaker is like a laudable position. But women that I have as patients don't really feel the same way. They're actually very few.
Random clip of Dr. K, which he prefaces by saying this is anecdotal.
Keep in mind this isn't data or anything, this is just anecdotal.
Love that. Yeah. Love that. This guy hates data.
Good,
he hates
qualified.
it. Just listen to how much he hates it. Listen to what he says next.
They're actually very few.
Yes, as far as I can see, including the many examples of women's testimony that I provided on this channel, the reason that house husbands are almost non-existent is because women generally don't want a man who stays home. They want a guy who makes more money than they do, whether they are politically on the left or the right. This is all compounded by another one-sided feminist lie, which is that housework is unpaid.
As far as I can see, including the many examples from my channel, which definitely doesn't have a particular agenda involved. Definitely not. Definitely not. Editor Noah, just go ahead and scroll through what the types of videos he makes and the types of agendas of the people he presents are made out to be. Okay, I got somewhere to be. It's getting dark. I'm maybe gonna finish the rest of this video later. We are 9 minutes in of a 30-minute video, and this video must be jumping up to the 20-25-minute range. If you want a 3-part series from this creeper, let me know. If you don't, and if you hated this, also let me know. And I'll see you on the flip. On the Philip. I'll see you on the Philip. Flip.
Okay. Okay. So that's part 3 of the saga, because we had Ash's video, Think Before You Sleep's video, and then Noah's response to that. I actually like this. I like this back and forth. Noah's definitely like more on top here so far. Although he definitely did make a few fumbles with that whole Fuentes thing. I don't think the complaint was that she was calling Fuentes far right. The complaint was that she was calling trad wives like far right because they were pushing a far right agenda. It's probably reasonable to assume that trad couples will mostly be on the right, like generally speaking. But I don't think you can necessarily say that like is inherently the problem with it. But yeah. How does your belly? Okay, so now think before you sleep, especially since it's influencers. Yeah, like fuck. Because I feel like Ash would have showed evidence of them doing that, of the influencers pushing far right shit. Like, and again, being anti-abortion is not far right. Okay, that's just right. Like, yeah, they're probably mostly gonna be right wing, but shit, it's not quite the same. Oh no. Is it because it's just more frowned upon on the left? Yeah, because or just because most people tend to try to have like a holistic like ideological view, right? So if they believe one thing, they'll necessarily believe another, because it's just easier to do that way. It's like you shortcut your opinions. So I feel like if you're a trad person, that you're probably gonna find yourself just naturally exposed to more right wing opinions, and then yeah, you just get this. That's how you get your cohesion. It would be weird for like a left winger just to go like, oh yeah, I'm left wing on this and this and this and this and this, but I'm also gonna be a trad wife. Like, yeah. But that's not an inherent problem with the trad relationship, you know? And I think that's where I don't think I've ever seen a satisfying argument. I don't think I've ever seen someone satisfactorily argue that trad relationships, provided they're consensual, have an inherent issue with them. I don't think that's really been demonstrated, but yeah. So think before you sleep. Made a 1 hour response, a 51-minute
Hey, everybody.
response. And I have stuff to do today. Oh, God. A 51-minute response. That's crazy, chat. Oh, yeah, these guys go back and forth a lot, which is really funny because I don't really respect either of them intellectually, which is just like, although Noah's definitely so far way ahead of the thing before you sleep guy, but it is just funny watching them fucking battle it out together. It's really funny. How did the Celeste bank stuff go? I tried calling my bank and it just kept going to the fucking voicemail. I don't know what. My bank is inaccessible. They just hate me. I don't know. Honestly, maybe I just have to go there. Hang on. And I think they close really early as well. Yeah, they close at like 3. Dicks. Ugh. I might have to do it on the website. Shit. Oh, God. I can gift you Celeste on Steam? Wow, that's so kind. What the fuck? Where's my Steam? Hang on. I do love having money that I can't use, though. It's good, good self-control. Self-discipline mechanism. My Steam account is just called Loanerbox. Is that all you need? No information given. Based. Yeah, my Steam account's just called Loanerbox, all lowercase. Why is the next one 51 minutes? I don't think I have time. I think I have somewhere to be in like just over an hour. Oh, God. Let me try adding you then. Hang on. Friend code? Hang on. I'll send you my friend code in Discord. That's what I'll do. There you go. Cancel your plans for content, please. Listen, chat, there's only one way to keep me going, okay? And it's pushing the bars or memberships. There's not enough pink names. You get emotes, you know? You get emotes if you get membership on YouTube. I think we should make more use of them, to be honest. Hang on. Let me demonstrate. Look at this. Oh, there you are, Harley. Okay, accept. Nice. Look at this. Look, it's fucking wild out there, chat. It's crazy that you do this. Look at that. Wait, why won't it fucking enter? Oh my God. Fuck off. Why won't it enter? I'm trying to get... Why can't I type in chat? Fuck. There we go. Look, chat, it's crazy when they do that. B-Nick Breakfast, thanks for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. All right, 51 minutes. Let's go. Let's strap in. Let's speed it up. Fuck. We'll go 1.25.
Hey, what's up? Today we're going to be looking at a video called Why Woke People Are Making Everything Ugly. It's a video from the channel Think Before You Sleep. That's right, old friend of the show.
Thanks, pal. Noah and I go way back. Way back to about 2 months ago when he reacted to a video of mine discussing literal communist Ash Sarkar from Novara Media, talking about traditional relationships. A video where Ash spent 15 minutes calling you a bunch of bad buzzwords if you want to be traditional.
It has lent a feminine veneer to conservative far-right and white nationalist ideologies.
So Noah did a reaction to about half my video on Ash Sarkar. I was already busy with another project.
See, that's not a good argument. It's just not a good argument at all. Just because white nationalists like a thing, you can't do it. Like, yeah.
Didn't want to burn a week or more on a reaction to his reaction to my reaction. So instead, I quickly responded to it in this big community post where I described my gripes about his arguments and his inability to do thorough research that he then responded to in another video.
Wait, he did a community post. So we have to, oh shit, there's a community post, then there's a Noah response to the community post. Oh God, I fucked it. Oh, we're so stuck. Okay, wait. We have to read the community post. Okay. Okay, we can do this. Maybe the 50-minute video will come later. 4 weeks ago? When was it? Oh shit. He community posted a little bit, but I think I can find it. All right. Yeah, I think I know where it is. Okay. You received a gift. Wow, I have a gift. That's so cool. Okay. So
What's going on, everybody?
it starts
Welcome
with
to the
I genuinely
channel. It's me.
Okay. He says I genuinely. It's 4 weeks ago, is it? Is that it? How old is this video? 3 months ago. Okay, we have to go down. Oh, here. Oh god, you can tell it already got to him. Holy shit. I genuinely don't know what to do here. Honestly, some of what I experienced over the past 24 hours is very blackpilling. When people react to my channel, I really don't care if the end result of that is, for a few hours, a bunch of their followers call me an incel on the video that their favorite creator reacted to. That's just part of the business. What really bothers me is when those people en masse show that they actually don't have the intelligence or the critical thinking skills to understand complex points, while also thinking they are the most intelligent and moral people on the planet. And then you can watch them outing themselves, not following their own moral standards. Allow me to further elaborate. Oh my god. Yesterday, a former/current Vosh fan, Noah Samsen, I think he's a former Vosh fan, made a reaction to my video on Novara Media with Ash Sarkar. A video where he calls me lazy and dishonest while at the same time putting so little work into the video that he forgot to clarify to his audience that I and Teal Deer are not the same person. I think it was quite clear that they were not the same person. So I got many people in my comments accusing me of something that I didn't say. To add the context of that, in my video I feigned ignorance about not knowing what the term neoliberalism means. It's a scripted video, guys. If I genuinely don't know what a term means, I can just look it up. I did that as a joke because Novara Media uses the term neoliberalism a lot in the videos that I've watched, yet I never saw them define it. Well, that's the idea, isn't it? No one ever, under any circumstances, if you're calling someone neoliberal, make an effort to define it. Neoliberalism on the online left, you know what it means? It just means bad. It means not a pure enough comrade. That's all it means. That's all it means. You can be Bernie Sanders level left and they'll call you neoliberal, or you can be Thatcher fucking level and they'll call you neoliberal, right? It's whatever. which is the common thing the intelligentsia loves to do to make themselves appear smart, when really all they're doing is alienating their potential audience who have no idea what they're talking about. Noah's argument basically ended up being, you have to take a Poli-Sci 101 course to understand Novara Media, or you are too dumb to listen. Which is counterintuitive to trying to get as many people as possible to listen to what you're saying. But anyway, he makes a reference to 2014 YouTube and puts Teal Deer on the screen, who proceeds to incorrectly define neoliberalism and edit the video in a way, probably by mistake, that makes it seem like I said it. Which resulted in a ton of people accusing me of something I didn't say. Well, it's also because he said he didn't know what neoliberalism was, but again, I just love the thought of thousands upon thousands of people in this guy's comment section be like, you don't even know what neoliberalism is, and they don't know what neoliberalism is. Oh God, I love that. That's crazy, chat. See how long it takes to explain. See how long it took to explain that and write it out. That was just one of many things gone wrong with the video. So I asked myself, should I make a video on this and say, I already made a video on this last July about Ludwig. There's nothing new to say, but it doesn't solve the problem of people thinking they have these amazing critical thinking skills while simultaneously only being able to repeat their creator's talking points verbatim, which is a problem because the creator didn't put the proper amount of OCD into his video to make sure things were reasonably accurate. What? Which leads to the people's favorite straw man, when you say bad stuff about a thing they like, out of context. You took Ash Sarkar out of context. Why is this a bad take? Because literally, this is a game you can't win. Yeah, Jordan Peterson fans will know that. They loved that. People will say I'm taking Ash Sarkar out of context because I didn't play the full video. The problem with doing that is that playing the entire video is copyright infringement. In order to, but it's when they contradict what you're saying, like 5 seconds later. You can obviously use clips, but if the clip is not negated by the context, or if the context doesn't change the meaning of the clip, that's fine. But I think it's because, for example, the evidence of trad wives being right-wing, I think she showed a few tweets of popular trad wives saying being anti-abortion and shit, but he didn't put that in, so that is out of context, yeah. Oh, this he's not the brightest bulb. Oh no. In order to qualify as fair use, I have to cut up the original video and provide transformative commentary. Because I have to do this, people can always go to a random part of the original video and say, why didn't you say this thing? Are you afraid of this point? Convenient that you left out this to prove your narrative. People are so bad with this that I literally spent hours reading hundreds of comments on Ludwig's video about me, searching for the top criticisms that people wanted me to respond to, and make sure I hit all of them. People still think I took things out of context and was avoiding certain points to fit my narrative. I bet if I went on a live stream and responded to every single point in the video that people would still say, let the video play. Why did you have to pause it so much? Again, this is a game you can't win. What you could do, though, is look in the description of my Novara Media video and see that I linked the video I was responding to so that people could see the entire context uninterrupted. If I was trying to be dishonest, I wouldn't have done that. Okay. Also, Noah only reacted to about half of my video. His video was 21 minutes, mine was 30 minutes. So by his followers' logic, he must be taking me out of context and avoiding crucial points so he can sell a narrative. Oh. I did feel like Novara didn't really say anything about the tradwife stats from the 50s. That bothered me. That was a bit of a dookie by Ash. I remember last night thinking maybe Noah will provide the evidence from the 1950s. Yeah. Okay, I imagine in this specific instance that they are saying out of context because Noah suggested I didn't watch the video before I responded, because I was critical of how Novara Media did their intro to only include tradwife bad without saying why. I did that because by the 2-minute mark, which is roughly where the intro ends, about 40 to 50% of the people watching the video will have dropped off and not understand why they should not like this thing Ash Sarkar is talking about. So, Noah used this as a point to call me lazy and say, just watch the video, bro, which is probably a projection of him because I know he watches/watched Vosh, and Vosh openly admitted to not pre-watching content before he reacts to it when he reacted to my Ludwig video. I think, okay, this is maybe a bit of a guilt by association. I watch Vosh. That doesn't mean I also react to things out of context and don't care about. Oh, God. Wow. Also, if Noah actually watched my full video and didn't just stop at the halfway point like his video does, then he would know that I referenced stuff at the end of the Novara Media video in my video, which means I would have had to watch the whole thing to reference that material. Oh, because Noah accused Think Before You Sleep of basically writing the reaction of reacting like just bit by bit without watching the whole video first. I don't think he did. I thought the Think Before You Sleep video was a prepared reaction, as in he'd watched the video, clipped parts out, and responded to them. So he had pre-watched. Yeah. You know what really gets taken out of context? The Weimar Republic. Well done. All right. Yeah, he obviously watched the video before clipping part out. Yeah, of course, yeah. Wait, how long is this? Okay. I probably watched the entire video 3 times before finishing the script and at least 5 times before finishing the video. I also spent a bunch of hours listening to Betty Friedan's book to find the material Ash was referencing because she didn't cite page numbers, which is considered bad faith. It's not bad faith to not cite a page number. Maybe if you've got like a stat. You're a YouTuber. You don't actually need to cite anything, but yeah. I spent a full day looking up the George Soros stuff to watch, to which, if you think that George Soros doesn't have influence over Novara Media, then go back and reread the Guardian article. Novara Media and the George Soros Open Democracy is a part of a group called the Media Fund. In order to be part of that group, you have to have other members approve of you being there. Soros gives Open Democracy tons of money. He can use that to leverage, well, again, it's conjecture, to leverage to pit Open Democracy against Novara Media if Novara Media doesn't toe the communist line. Is George Soros even a communist, though? I thought he was just like a kind of soy progressive who funds like various progressive projects. Like, but really, if Novara Media wants to show people that they don't have any elite investors, then show a full audit of your 10,000 donors. As far as I can see, they don't do that. We might not find billionaire investors, but we could very well find multi-millionaire investors. Ironically, Open Democracy shows their donors, which makes them more honest than Novara Media. Okay. Though I'm not sure that Noah has the work ethic to do this level of work that I do for my videos because he self-admitted to only spending an hour on one of his scripts by roughly saying, "Sorry there were so many mistakes in my video. I only spent an hour on the script." Oh no. To be fair, if you get the amount of positive reinforcement that Noah does for his videos as a proportion of the research he does, why the fuck would you do more than an hour of writing a script? Yeah. Uh-oh. 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 Damn. How did Destiny find out? How did Destiny learn about this? How did he find out about this story that just came out last night? Who could? It's crazy, chat. All right. Ugh. If need be, I can go dig that quote up, but I believe he said it because he had some beef after losing a morality battle with Vosh. Oh, I have never only spent an hour on a script. The reason I don't do that is because fact checking and research is a very time consuming process, and if you are only spending an hour writing your material, then you basically aren't fact checking anything. You're just writing from memory, which will cause you to unintentionally misrepresent information. I believe that's why he got into a squabble with Vaush. I don't even think my average rereads are even under 2 hours these days. I do 2 rereads per Oh, wow. And that's after all the writing is done. This guy's so funny. Bro. Do you know what they both have? Noah and this guy. They both have the energy of someone who is probably in university, first year, second year maybe, and they just won an argument in a bar against some guy who's like bleezing, just some shit-faced random in a bar. And they made them look stupid, and then they were like, you know what I should do? I should put my opinions on YouTube. Damn. I'm good at this. The reason I spend so much time fact-checking is so I don't make mistakes like arguing that a significant portion of tradwives are neo-Nazis based on a tweet that had 6 likes on it. Speaking of Ash being a literal communist, did you know that Hitler rose to power because communists would go around and beat the crap out of everyone who disagreed with them, and Hitler was the only one who beat the crap out of them? Okay. That's not why Hitler came to power. Fear of communism was part of it, though. Yes, people did not like communists, and they saw Nazis as like the bulwark against communism. Yeah, communists definitely did not help when it came to the rise of Nazis. That is true. He's doing the thing though, where you take something that's kind of true, but because you have the agenda and you want to make communists directly responsible, like the chief responsibility. No, I don't think any serious historians argue that, like, were it not for the communists, the Nazis wouldn't have come to power. That's really fucking dumb. They definitely didn't help, though. And when the Nazis did come to power, when the Enabling Act was passed, the communists were fine with it. They said, this is good. Liberal democracy is destroyed. Next stage will be revolution, you know? Next step, communism. They did more or less say that, the Central Committee of the Comintern. I need to do a video about that. Anyway. You would know that the communists are just as bad as the Nazis if you actually did research on these people. Maybe Germany wouldn't have had such a tyrant takeover if the commies weren't using violence to spread their political message. Yeah, no, there's a bit more to it than that. There's, things that were maybe more influential. Fear of communism was a factor. That was what moved a lot of, that's what it helped Nazis consolidate the right-wing vote. But also, Treaty of Versailles, fucking Article 48, which Social Democrats were actually to blame for. The instability of the electoral process, the fact that most of the people who opposed were in the Weimar, in the Reichstag, were opposed to its existence. Yeah, there's a few different reasons, but yeah, okay. I would say Article 48 and Treaty of Versailles are kind of seen as more the big reasons, though. Yeah. I did enjoy the fact that Noah said he's just saying they are guilty by association towards me when I talked about Novara Media's financial ties, but ignores the multitude of times that Ash relates tradwives to a bunch of people they outwardly don't like and makes them guilty by association. Literally, the Hitler was a vegetarian, therefore all vegetarians are Nazis argument. You can disagree on whether I provided adequate proof or not, but don't then completely ignore it when Ash Sarkar uses the very tactic you were accusing me of. I think Ash did do this a little bit, yeah. I think she did use guilt by association with the Nazis thing, yeah. A lot. Treaty of Versailles was based, though. Germany did You can say that, and I've heard people make that argument, but the problem is that if Germany could have paid the reparations. They could have. It's just that in order to do it, they would have had to raise taxes. And as soon as a government in Weimar Germany raises taxes to pay for a war that they lost to the French and the fucking Belgians and the British, as soon as they do that, they get voted out. So no one could do it. So they add inflation. So it's kind of like self-fulfilling yeah. you can say it was morally correct, but that is what was happened, and there was no way around that. As soon as someone paid the necessary, raised the necessary taxes to pay the reparations, they would have got voted out, and it would have got reversed. So, yeah. Wasn't inflation because of the Great Depression? Nope. Inflation was in 1923. Great Depression was 29. Hyperinflation had stopped, and the new Reichsmark had come in before the Great Depression. They were separate events, yeah. See, this is why you watch the Loner Box streams, okay, chat? It's crazy, chat. All right. Because we know one or two things about Weimar Germany. We're like the fucking 80 IQ alternative to all the 30 IQ takes you see on Weimar Germany. That's my sales pitch to you guys. You don't want to be accused of taking things out of context or avoiding points that are inconvenient to your narrative, would you? Anyway, that's probably one of the big issues we're facing today. These people think they're the smartest people on the planet, but have none of the work ethic it takes to actually present your point accurately. TLDR, people I disagree with are wrong. Also, if you don't want to read it, then use text-to-speech, full screen, a stock image. Okay. Look how much writing it took just to respond to some of Noah's points. This is why I don't like doing videos on this stuff. If you want to see a video response to Noah Samsen, then go watch the video I made last year on Ludwig, Hassan, and Vosh. Oh yeah, that was the video. It was really dumb, that video. It was so dumb. Oh, that was the first time we ever watched this channel. Yeah. Anyway. Golly. I need some peanut butter. And then we're going to watch Noah's response. And that'll be us for the day. Okay, guys? While I'm away, don't hesitate, if you so wish, to super chat, push the bar, or get a membership and use the emotes. Alright. BRB. Let's go. Okay. So let's see what Mr. Samsen had to say about that post.
Your host, Woke iDubbbz, back with another Wait, I'm getting word that iDubbbz is Woke iDubbbz now, apparently. Great. Just great. As if Western civilization wasn't falling hard enough already. A few days ago, I did a video on this anti-woke, anti-feminist channel, Think Before You Sleep. If you haven't seen that video, I would recommend watching it so you can have the full context to today's video, and so I can get a bunch of views and money and keep my social media communist grift going. Think Before You Sleep decided to respond to my video in a community post on his channel. His reasoning for that being that he's already responded to Ludwig, Hassan, and Vosh, and we're all the same guy with the same arguments apparently. Of course, I think it's totally fair to opt out of making a video response. He's busy. He's got better things to do, like explain to us how feminism is making women fall in love with Justin Bieber or whatever. It's important political work, and I respect his decision to pursue it. But I am a commentary YouTuber, which means that I do not have better things to do. I have time today. This video is going to be a bit of a slog, so to minimize the sloggery, I'm just going to go through and respond to Think Before You Sleep's main complaints about my video in order of relevance. The full post is linked in the description. You should go read it to make sure that I'm not misrepresenting anything he was saying. Last thing here, at the end of his post, he writes this: TLDR, people I disagree with are wrong. Also, if you don't want to read it, then use text-to-speech. Full screen a stock image, and it will be just like watching a video of mine. He's got a sense of humor here, which I think that's good. But instead of doing text-to-speech, I had a better idea. I'm gonna soothe the audience's ear wounds suffered in the last video by having someone with a smooth, calming voice read Think Before You Sleep's voice lines. Andrewism is the one. He will be doing that today. Hi, Andrew.
I hear that guy's name a lot. I don't know anything about them. Okay.
Andrewism.
Awesome. All right, we're doing this for the dog. Noah Samsen. Take 1, take 0, take 2, however many takes this takes.
Go check out his channel after this. He uses his same voice over there, and his videos are as good as his voice, which means it's very good stuff.
Oh.
Okay, long intro over. Let's begin. The first critique from Think Before You Sleep that I want to look at is that of hypocrisy. I criticized him for not watching Ash's video in full, and yet I only reacted to half of his video. This is a contradiction. Laziness for me, but not for thee, if you follow. Let's read that now.
Noah only reacted to about half of my video. His video was 21 minutes. Mine was 30 minutes. So by his followers' logic, he must be taking me out of context and avoiding crucial points so he can sell a narrative.
By your logic is one of the funnier online argumentation tactics. Its pervasive use was summed up well here in this Vulture article. Feel free to pause and read. But its pervasive use was summed up well here in this
Merrick Garland, by your own logic. Chapo Trap House. What's wrong with saying by your own logic? I know that a lot of progressive just kind of see, like, they maybe don't admit this, but they just use progressivism in the way that you would like a dogma. You believe it because, like, I believe progressivism, even all the things that contradict the other things. It's like, for example, the thing with by your own logic is that it can show whether or not your position has a ethical foundation to it, that it actually that it doesn't contradict other parts of your worldview, and that it doesn't contradict like that it's not like breaking a moral rule. Because the problem with having like an ethical inconsistency is that if you can break one rule, you can break any of them. So it's perfectly valid if someone says, well, it's actually, you can't be racist against white people because they have the systemic power. I was like, okay, by your logic, it's not racist to go to China with your fucking eyes sellotaped and chopsticks playing out of a boombox, and you go up there and making fucking like South Park fake Chinese noises at strangers because they have the systemic power. No, obviously, that would be racist. Yeah, so it's just, yeah, by your logic. Yeah, you could. It's a good way to demonstrate inconsistency and like logical flaws. Yeah.
Vulture article, feel free to pause and read. But one major problem with the by your logic line of argumentation is that it's often totally vacuous. And that's the case here. In his entire post, Think Before You Sleep doesn't give any examples where I took him out of context or avoided these crucial points of his. Let's keep reading though. He continues.
Noah used this as a point to call me lazy and say, just watch the video, bro, which is probably a projection on him because I know he watches/watched Vosh, and Vosh openly admitted to not pre-watching content before he reacts to it when he reacted to my Ludwig video.
Objection, relevance, Your Honor. The prosecution is referencing a very dark time in the defendant's life where he did indeed still watch Vosh.
Oh no. Yeah, so I think he's right that Think Before You Sleep had an example of by your logic, but in a bad way. He did do that. But that's not an inherent problem with by your logic. No.
Gosh.
If Noah actually watched my full video and didn't just stop at the halfway point like his video does, then he would know that I referenced stuff at the end of the Novara Media video in my video, which means I would have had to watch the whole thing to reference that material.
Okay, now we arrive at my main point for this one. Yes, he does include clips in his video that come up in the end of Ash's video. However, this response totally misses the point of my critique. Evidence that you watched the video isn't evidence that you understood it. When I say watch the full video, bro, watch the video. All you gotta do is watch the video. What I'm referring to is the fact that there are claims made in his video that are directly contradicted by things mentioned later in Ash's. For example, at 28 seconds into his video, Think Before You Sleep says this.
Oh no, women doing housework, child rearing, right wing, traditional. What has this world come to? This is terrible. Somebody please save us from this deeply misogynistic movement where women are choosing to stay home instead of working a job.
But Ash, at just 1 minute and 28 seconds into her video, says this.
I'm not saying there's anything inherently degrading about being a mum or making nice meals. I like cooking elaborate dinners. For that matter, my boyfriend does too. But the tradwife trend isn't just a way to talk about the experience of being a woman and doing domestic labor. It's saying that being a woman or expressing your femininity most fully means doing all the domestic labor.
If he watched the video 3 times, as he later says he did, he would know that claiming multiple times that Ash is trying to argue that being a housewife is inherently misogynistic is dishonest. It's a misrepresentation. But he does it anyway. Whether or not
would Ash say that being a trad wife is inherently misogynistic? Because I feel like she would. It's a little bit... There are 2 terms here. There's a housewife and there's a trad wife. I feel like the housewife thing isn't that controversial. The trad wife thing is. That's more where the disagreement is.
Think Before You Sleep actually watched the video in question is obviously speculation on my part. But if he did watch this video, then by leaving contradictory points in it, like this one, he has intentionally misrepresented Novara Media. Another thing to point out here is that Think Before You Sleep doesn't play this clip of Ash, the one that contradicts his entire narrative, until 7 minutes and 28 seconds into his video, despite playing the claims just before it at the start of the video. This allows him to frame Ash in a much more negative light to his audience than is warranted. Okay, the second critique we're going to look at is Think Before You Sleep saying that I misrepresented him by my use of a clip from Sean's video about teal deer. Let's read.
Yesterday, a current/former Vosh fan, Noah Samsen.
Again with the Vosh thing. Come on, man. You're being really loud. Seriously, man. I don't need people hearing that. If I had to venture a guess as to why he brings that up 4 separate times, I would say that he's dropping a little bit of poison into the well. Poisoning the well. His audience does not like Vosh. Check the comments on this video for evidence of that. So to me, this feels like he's maybe priming them to not take me seriously or discredit me for my unfortunate former content consumption choices. Maybe not, you know, but also maybe. I don't know, you tell me. Anyways.
Yesterday, a current/former Vosh fan, Noah Samsen, made a reaction to my video on Novara Media with Ash Sarkar. A video where he calls me lazy and dishonest, while at the same time putting so little work into the video that he forgets to clarify to his audience that I and Teal there are not the same person. So I got many people in my comments accusing me of something that I didn't say.
Think Before You Sleep continues on this point later.
He makes a reference to 2014 YouTube and puts Teal Deer on the screen, who proceeds to incorrectly define neoliberalism and edits the video in a way, probably by mistake, that makes it seem like I said it, which resulted in a ton of people accusing me of something that I didn't say.
Okay.
But the thing he did say, I don't know what that means about neoliberalism. And maybe he was joking. The problem is that his joke inflection and his joke tone is exactly the same as when he's being completely serious. So it's really difficult to tell. Yeah.
Okay, so, no. Just no. The fact that Teal Deer and Think Before You Sleep are different people is made obvious by a number of context clues. I preface the clip by saying that Think Before You Sleep reminds me of the old anti-SJW videos. I remember there's some old anti-SJW videos that did this same thing. When the clip plays, the source of Sean's video is displayed clearly on the screen. It also shows the year, 2016, which is well before Think Before You Sleep even uploaded his first video. While both of their voices do have a similarly titanic smugness, Teal Deer has a British accent. I'm here operating under the assumption that viewers will recognize the difference between a smug American accent and a smug British one. If this was a mistake, then I am deeply sorry to all those affected. But when he says that people in the comments are accusing him of saying things he didn't say, what is he talking about? I think this is one of the comments in question. The reason being is that this is one of the only ones from his video that he responded to, and it makes a claim similar to the one that he outlines. You basically just said, all video, I'm uneducated and will not educate myself, so you're wrong. How do you talk about politics not knowing what neoliberalism is? To which Think Before You Sleep responded, that's not what I said. I said the audience isn't going to do that, and therefore constantly using terms they don't understand without explaining them, like the pseudo-intellectuals love to do so they look smart, will confuse the audience and make them tune out. That's not what you said though, is it, Think Before You Sleep? Ash said this.
It's part of a wider shift of young people being dissatisfied with neoliberalism and wanting social change.
And then you said this.
I have no idea what she just said, so I'm going to go by what the red highlighted text says.
He did say that.
That was it. You didn't give any examples of Ash's pseudo-intellectualism, and you definitely didn't ever actually explain the term neoliberalism. The joke you made was that you don't know what it means.
No one's gonna explain what neoliberalism is. Noah should totally just say what neoliberalism is. Let's just finally plug the gap forever.
By your logic, your own audience must have started shitting and farting as soon as they heard you make that joke. That's gross. Okay, I do see the appeal of by your logicking someone. It's fun, it's cathartic in a sort of Reddit kind of way. Now, he echoes this point later in his response.
To add the context of that, in my video, I feigned ignorance about not knowing what the term neoliberal means. It's a scripted video, guys. If I genuinely don't know what a term means, I can just look it up.
First, I love when he says, this video was scripted. If I don't know what a term means, I can just look it up. Because I wrote a video essay, if I got anything wrong, no, I didn't. That's what that means.
I did that as a joke because Novara Media uses the term neoliberalism.
Sorry, I got really, I think I've just got a default reaction to the forced laugh now.
A lot in the videos that I watched, yet I never saw them define it. It kind of seems like Novara Media's video is, let's just say you're not the intended audience. Anyway.
I'm trying to cut down on critiquing comedy, but this joke, as he's described it, only works if his audience knows that Navarro Media does what he says they do. But he never explains that. He doesn't even mention it. So how would they know? Regardless of intent, the joke that's being made in the text is that you don't know what neoliberalism is, and that her use of it in that sentence was unintelligible to you.
I have no idea what she just said, so I'm going to go by what the red highlighted text says.
And to be clear, that's a fine joke to make. It is preachy in that it relies on his audience's pre-existing biases about leftist intellectualism or whatever, but there's no need to lie about it. The commenters aren't mistaking you for Teal Deer. They've recognized that you both basically did the same thing. What is truly hilarious, though, is how similar his response is to Teal Deer's.
YouTube commenters were quick to point out Teal Deer's mistake, which led to him claiming it was just a joke, which led to the rather obvious follow-up question, what was the joke? And I guess after getting a bunch of comments explaining his mistake, Teal Deer got sick of it and added the following disclaimer to the video description. To all the people telling me I don't know what neoliberalism is, You missed the joke, so here it is, spelled out for you.
So he made a joke that didn't make any sense, and later tried to retroactively explain the joke by including context that wasn't present in the original video. Context about leftists using terms they don't understand in order to seem smarter than they really are.
To be honest, if I hear someone using the word neoliberalism in some rant about social change and they use a bunch of buzzwords, like, I might tell a joke by saying, like, yeah, those are words that exist. You know what I mean? Because we've heard it, like, I feel like if you watch any left-wing content, you must know that happens all the time. Is words like neoliberalism, fucking white supremacy, colonial, like it's all just like the amount of times it just seems to get shoehorned into a sentence just to give it a bit more, I don't know, to increase the fucking word count, you know? So I don't know.
Are.
I know you're trying to invent a load of bullshit nonsense buzzwords that people can then go home and throw out on their Twitter and Tumblr accounts to try and make themselves look intellectual while they're talking about some mythical patriarchy.
This fits in perfectly with what he says next.
I did that as a joke because Novara Media uses the term neoliberalism a lot in the videos that I watched, yet I never saw them define it, which is a common thing the intelligence... which is a common thing.
We have even more like forced laughter coming on here. This guy's been doing it as well. Why do I feel like it sounds forced? It is, isn't it?
The lot in the videos that I watched, yet I never saw them define it, which is a common thing the intelligence. Which is a common thing the intelligentsia loves to do to make themselves appear smart when really all they are doing... Am I the intelligentsia? Anyway, which is a common thing the intelligentsia loves to do to make themselves appear smart when really all they're doing is alienating their potential audience who has no idea what they are talking about.
The teal deer allegations are just smacking this guy silly. Okay, enough of that. That
was a forced laugh. Okay, no one can convince you otherwise. None of you fucks.
Allegations are just smacking this guy silly. Okay, enough of that.
This should be a fucking dono clip.
The teal deer allegations are just smacking this guy silly. Okay, enough of that.
It's not even a laugh, yeah. It's a forced titter.
Teal deer allegations are just smacking.
I can't even do it. Hee. All right, one more time.
This guy silly. Okay, enough of that. The next point here is guilt by association.
I did enjoy the fact that Noah said he's just saying they are guilty by association toward me when I talked about Novara Media's financial ties, but ignores the multitude of times that Ash relates trad wives to a bunch of people they outwardly don't like and makes them guilty by association. How dare you?
Go!
Someone supercut Angie Speaks using neoliberal consensus in a stream.
Mr. Owl.
How many times can Angie Speaks talk about the neoliberal consensus in this debate?
Let's find out what.
People are distrustful of these neoliberal candidates. They're distrustful of these neoliberal candidates. Another 8 years of a neoliberal technocrat in the White because people were tired of that neoliberal consensus. Sessions that these neoliberals make, especially on issues which I get break from, which is the neoliberal consensus. Shove more neoliberal consensus in front of people's faces have been dissatisfied with in the past, which is the neoliberal consensus. People are tired of seeing these neoliberal candidates shove. The clear dissatisfaction with the neoliberal status quo indicates that people don't want to see another neoliberal candidate.
300.
I do wonder why all those like this is a good frame. I do wonder why all those like fucking batshit fucking radical leftists stopped doing debates. Because a lot of them used to actually do debates. That Mel person used to go in those debate panels. Angie Speaks did. Hassan did. Yeah. I wonder why they all stopped. And then it decided one after the other that debate is actually invalid as a concept and always has been.
Goalpost shift. He didn't merely talk about Novara Media's financial ties. He continually and explicitly stated that Novara Media is both influenced and funded by George Soros.
Oh, look, it's
did.
billionaire George
He did do that.
Soros. I swear when you study this stuff enough, it feels like all paths eventually lead to George Soros.
Yeah.
The founder of Novara Media, this guy here, Aaron Bastani, has also written for the George Soros-funded Open Democracy, and Novara Media did a podcast with Open Democracy's founder as well. So who exactly is funding you again? Particularly considering that Novara Media obviously has some big funders and is not a grassroots channel. More importantly though, and now that we know who's behind this company,
they're not. The ties are guilt by association because Novara Media is not partnered with anyone that's funded by George Soros. It's a partner of a partner. Elsewhere in the post, he elaborates on these funding claims.
Soros gives Open Democracy tons of money. He can use that leverage to pit Open Democracy against Novara Media if Novara Media doesn't toe the communist line.
No evidence. Zero evidence for this assertion. Just, he could do this, and I don't have any way to prove it, but he could. He's writing fan fiction for anti-Semites. Quick joke explainer there. I'm not calling Think Before You Sleep an anti-Semite, but insinuating that all information channels are controlled by George Soros is very often used as an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Love to have to explain my jokes so I don't get jumped on by a bunch of goobers.
But really, if Novara Media wants to show people they don't have any elite investors, then show us a full audit of your 10,000 donors. As far as I can see, they don't do that. We might not find billionaire investors, but we could very well find multimillionaire investors. Ironically, Open Democracy shows their donors, which makes them more honest than Novara Media.
Again, pay close attention to the language he's using here. We might. We could. Okay, well, you haven't. So until you do, what are you saying? You're just insinuating blame where no blame has been proven. For Think Before You Sleep, innocent until proven guilty doesn't apply to leftists. It only applies to men that have been accused of sexual assault. For some reason. It's weird.
Literally, the Hitler was a vegetarian, therefore all vegetarians are Nazis argument. You can disagree on whether I provided adequate proof or not, but don't then completely ignore it when Ash Sarkar uses the very tactic you're accusing me of. A lot. You don't want to be accused of...
I really wanted to know what to respond to this part. I wanted the Weimar Republic YouTuber takes. But anyway.
Taking things out of context or avoiding points that are inconvenient to your narrative, would you? Yeah, Noah, would you?
Would you?
Even if Ash had used this tactic, which she didn't, I'll get into that, but even if she had, that would hold no bearing on the validity of my point. The mere fact that I didn't mention something that you think Ash did is not evidence disproving my argument. He also ignores my critique here by just saying that you can disagree. I did disagree, and you just didn't address the reasons why I disagree. That is pretty important, in my opinion. Like, I get, this isn't a full response, this is a text post, but do that just once, that's all I'm asking. He later reiterates this misinterpretation of Ash's words.
The reason I spend so much time fact-checking is so I don't make mistakes like arguing that a significant portion of tradwives are neo-Nazis based on a tweet that had 6 likes on it.
She never argued that, though. Hey, come here. Think before you sleep. Where did she argue that? Cite where she argued that. You can't? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Now, what Ash did say was this.
There's an overlap, therefore, between the tradwife trend and white nationalism. This overlap can be implicit, subtle, and unconscious, taking place through aesthetics. This might be using adverts of white nuclear families from the 1950s to stand in for the universal ideal marriage, or contrasting the ideal tradwife to the stereotypical boss bitch, who's always associated with hip-hop culture and almost always black. This reinforces the idea that the ideal, most elegant, and most desirable model of femininity is white European.
Which is obviously a much more nuanced take on the issue.
I don't think it's that nuanced. It's just more... if your critique of tradwives isn't like too exciting on its own, just like throw in the fucking like loose Nazi connection. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't think it's a very good argument.
Then Think Before You Sleep makes it seem. Just like in his video, he reduces her perspective down to she thinks a lot of tradwives are Nazis, when that's just nowhere to be found in her video. I just want to say a few more things here before we wrap this video up, because I know it's dragging on. Here's Think Before You Sleep scolding my audience a little bit, but it doesn't solve the problem of people thinking that they have these amazing critical thinking skills while simultaneously only being able to repeat their creator's talking points verbatim, which is a problem because the creator didn't put the proper amount of OCD into his video to make sure things were reasonably accurate. If Think Before You Sleep has a problem with audience members going around repeating talking points verbatim, he should check the comment sections of literally any of the videos that he's responded to. The Novara Media one is a good start. Came to the comments, wasn't disappointed at all. If Ash is a Muslim, as she has claimed in the past, surely she would be aware of the traditional family structures that are a foundation of the vast majority of Muslim families. Or is it only bad when the Christians do it? Does that sound familiar? Anyway, to anyone?
How are Christians regressive? I mean, Muslims have traditional values. Are they regressive too?
We're totally independent from billionaires. Disclaimer, George Soros doesn't count as a billionaire because, these clowns are so good at making themselves look like hypocrites, pointing it out almost feels like bullying. Here's one of his viewers just openly spreading the lie that George Soros funds Novara Media. Where could he have gotten that information from? Oh, damn, I want to be a non-trad husband. Staying at home while my partner works would be a lot easier than having a job. Those husbands are suckers.
I bet if women actually gave men a choice to stay at home versus work for some boss they don't like or for rude customers, a giant portion of them would gladly not go to work.
So attentive viewers may have noticed that every single one of these points are points that are directly pulled from Think Before You Sleep's video. And if it seems like I'm making a buy your logic point here, that's not what I'm trying to do. Because I sincerely do not really care about this type of thing. Part of having a large channel is that a certain subset of your viewers...
He refers back a lot to the buy your logic thing. Like the debater kind of terms. Even the buyer, I don't even think that's like a debater thing. I feel like even people just in everyday discourse might use buyer logic for some argument, but do you think he's still traumatized by his encounters with debaters? I don't know.
Viewers are going to go and repeat the things you've said without necessarily adding anything new, adding some of their perspective. I don't like it when people do that, but some people just do that. And
it's a really weird thing to have an issue with, yeah. It doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Not much you can do to prevent it. The difference here, though, is that I'm not citing that as evidence of an inaccurate video. Think Before You Sleep is doing that. We are not the same. Okay, last point, I promise you, here we go. In this post, Think Before You Sleep repeatedly cites the amount of time he spends on his videos, and contrasts this with the amount of time that I must spend on mine. How does he know that? Well, reasons.
Though I'm not sure that Noah has the work ethic to do this level of work that I do. What work, dog? I saw the parts of your video that he showed on the screen, and it wasn't good. Whatever. Though I'm not sure that Noah has the work ethic to do this level of work that I do for my videos, because he self-admitted to only spend an hour on one of his scripts by saying roughly, "Sorry there were so many mistakes in my video. I only spent an hour on the script. If need be, I can go dig that quote up." But I believe he said it because he has some beef after losing a morality battle with Vosh.
Why does he keep arguing with me using the reanimated corpse of a 2-year-old drama? What's up with that, you know? I love that he keeps doing this instead.
To be fair, it's 2 years ago, yeah, it's a while. But you did get kind of dumpstered in the Vosh debate. Unfortunately, these things stay on the internet forever. Oh, God.
Instead of addressing the points made in my video, he brings up various unrelated points to speculate on the accuracy of my work, without actually providing his reasoning, you know? It is cowardly behavior of the...
Was it 2 years ago or was it a year and a half ago? I feel like it was, 2 years ago might be. I don't think it was exactly 2 years ago, probably a bit less. I don't know.
Highest order. The important thing to remember here, though, as I mentioned before, is that spending more time on something is not on its own evidence that that thing is good. James Cameron spent 39 years of his life working on Avatar, and that shit was ass, in my opinion. Of course, that's just my opinion. It was a fun movie, all right? It was a fun movie. I had fun. But for the time spent, you know, I don't know.
I have never won.
What was Noah's main issue with Vosh? It was nebulous horseshit. It was because Vosh called that Professor Flowers girl a Nazi for wanting to deport white South Africans, or was it deport? I think she said she was okay with deporting, but it was more like it's not their land. It should be. I think I'd imagine Professor Flowers would support the expropriation without compensation thing, but I don't know because they didn't talk about fucking policy. It was the most stupid fucking discussion. Yeah, and then Noah weighed in, and oh god, and he attacked Xander Hall and tried to like imply that Xander Hall was racist, and I think he said what Vosh was doing was racist as well, and it was all just. Yeah, it was not good. It was all a lot of brain damage. That's what it was.
Once spent an hour on a script.
It is funny as well that like no mention of policy or which groups are advocating for what in South Africa. None of that came up. It was all just like one side saying, you realize that these are 6 million people. And do you know who else wanted to remove 6 million people, and then the other side's like, but you fail to understand that these were victims of colonialism, and how can you expect people to live amongst their colonizers? And it's like, it's just bullshit fucking rhetoric on both sides. Like, just that rhetoric, just a fucking rhetoric dick waving contest. Oh, I hated that discussion so much. Ugh. But yeah, like people were there was a lot of denial as well. Like Professor Flowers did say that she was okay with people being deported in the context of colonialism, but to her, colonialism means like there's no statute of limitations. It can be generations and generations and centuries apart, but like it's still okay. So yeah, it's just stupid.
The reason I don't do that is because fact checking and research is a very time consuming process, and if you're only spending an hour writing your material, then you basically aren't fact checking anything. You're just writing from memory, which will cause you to unintentionally misrepresent information.
So this can be summed up as the work harder, not smarter approach. The Virgin, I spend years on scripts just for them to still be bad, versus the Chad, I debunked your shit in the same amount of time it takes for me to make a TikTok reaction video. All right, we're done now, but to conclude, think before you sleep. If my work is as bad as you say, respond to it. Properly respond to it in a video. I mean it shouldn't be difficult given my lazy, stupid communist tendencies. If you don't want to smoke, that's fine. I don't want to keep you from the reality TV reaction stuff you're normally doing. But the reason I do want to see this is because I do genuinely take issue with the way you continually misrepresent leftist positions on your channel. Egregiously so. You know, that video was egregious. I would consider it egregious. It's a pattern on your channel, and it's not beneath me to cover this pattern for my next 12 videos. If you do respond, my only request is that you try not to proxy argue your case using years-old beef that I have with other content creators, and that you have someone else read your lines so we can stop.
Voss's problem was her refusal to say that colonized people doing genocide against the colonizers was bad. Yeah, that was a big part of it. I definitely side with Voss more in that debate than Professor Flowers. Like, she was fucking insane. But yeah. It's so weird. There are people out there though who think it's not genocide if it's done by a marginalized group or like a historically oppressed group. Which would mean that the Rwandan genocide wasn't a genocide, if you believe that, because the Tutsis were the ones who had the monarchy and the fucking power and all the economic power and all that shit. Yeah, they were the powerful minority in up until Rwandan independence, which I think was it independent 57. Fuck, wait. When did the Tutsi monarchy get fucked off? Was it 50s? It was late 50s, early 60s. Yeah, the revolution was 59. 59.
Stop killing off members of my audience from the blood loss out of their ears. Okay, that's it. Thanks again to my patrons, and to Andrewism for voicing the guy. Go check him out. Great channel. Sources are linked below, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
But when was it when Tutsis actually lost? When was it when Hutus were more powerful than Tutsis? Because I think even after Rwandan independence, like in the 60s, Hutus were killing Tutsis. Like that happened straight after as well. There was like forced removals and shit. But but I thought the Tutsis were the ones who had the systemic power for a while. Traditional governing elite. Oh yeah, colonial powers only allowed the Tutsis to be educated and participate in the colonial government. Yeah, so Tutsis were the ones who were participating in the colonial government. Yeah, okay. Even though the Hutus were majorities, and then when the Hutus took power, they started attacking Tutsis. But apparently that doesn't count because by their logic, it doesn't count if it's a marginalized group doing it against a historical oppressor. Yeah, even here, Tutsis were fleeing in the 50s and 60s. Yeah. There you go. Hmm. Some strange logic to onboard. Well, it's true. Facts. God, I've been streaming quite a bit lately, haven't I? Is this number 3 or 4? For the week. Probably won't do another one until Friday, to be honest. Because I am a video essayist. I need to do some of that. Can I redirect to Novara? Did they let you do that? Oh, they allow redirects. And there's a video starting in... Oh, it's September 10th. It's scheduled. Okay, fuck it. Whatever. We're not redirecting to anyone. All right, guys. It was a good stream. I'm going to fuck off and have some dinner, I think. Nice to see you streaming. Thanks for everything. Yeah, I thought it was all right. Good stream. We'll finish this drama the next stream. We will watch the 51-minute video, but I think before you sleep. All right, guys. Take care.